It's Monday. It's time to get into the lab, guys. We got a big packed show, so I'm not going to go with the extravagant hellos. Let's get right into the weeks, how we've done in the week. And actually, I'm going to start with Mr. Mike White. How's your week been in Heroclix, sir?
No, I'm chewing nibs. What happened? I knew I was going to be first. It's because you saw me throw the nibs in.
Actually, I chose you first because it's not me, and then these other two guys went to WKOs. So.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, WKs are much more interesting. Yeah, I finally got to play. I actually haven't played a game since coming back from Atlanta. It's just been so busy. It was a meta event. Unfortunately, the turnout was very low, and people still didn't even really bring as meta as they thought they were going to bring, because I brought, Unimind, Nighthawk Prime, Mangog, Skyscraper Wonder Woman, and Green Arrow ID card with the Symbiote and Supreme Intelligence on Nighthawk Prime. So, yeah. So there was only 3 of us there, and I annihilated my 2 opponents with their pseudo-meta teams. And, yeah, it was gross and left a bad taste in my mouth. And it was really sad, too, that it ended up being a meta event because, again, it had been a month since I played, and I was actually really hoping for a completely casual, ridiculous – like, I've been yearning to play Serpent Society so bad. So badly, you have no idea. I want to put Frogner, I don't know how to say Mjolnir.
Frogner?
Yeah, sure. On Death Adder. What? And play him on a map with water? Oh my god, I'm going to blow the doors off this game with Death Adder, with the Frog Mjolnir there. Anyway, so that was it. That's all I did for Heroclix. I'm excited for what's coming up. 2 WKOs this coming weekend for me. So, yeah. Anyway, that was it for me.
Yeah, my weekend, again, I only went to one tournament myself as well. Saturday, I went to Comic Warehouse. It was a 600-point event where, and it was for one of the Spider-Man prizes. I think it was the Scarlet Spider, but I'm not sure. But the stipulation was if you use the Spider-Man team ability, you can copy uncopyable teams. Hey, guys, guess what figure was on just about every team except for one? And the one guy brought Thanos and Sentry Void, so... That's it's going to eliminate him from that. But guess what figure made it to all the other teams? That's right. Cosmic Spider-Man, kids. So there was a lot of Spider Family teams and Spider Family nonsense with Cosmic Spider-Man. But he was played at multiple point values. I played him at 75 myself with a couple of the Chase Spiders. This is the first time I got to take Spider-Punk out for a run. And my gosh, the one game I lost to get the one guy who won, he brought the blue power battery on a team with Spider-Man. Okay, all yours, bud. But he also had a Thor ID card that he used to pulse wave a bunch of my my figures along with my Peter the Hunter Pogs, all 4 of them. It's okay. It's not like the Outwit was going to do much, and catching his 275-point Cosmic Spider-Man was going to be a bit of a nightmare. So, but he had his Thor out right in the middle of my team. So I attack. I roll the Spider-Verse. I bring in Peter the Hunter. And this is, I led it with Spider-Punk. Spider-Punk hit twice on the Thor, got a little bit of damage off, brought me into the penetration zone. Then in comes Peter the Hunter. He attacks, he misses. Then I go at it with Poison, because now Poison's going to do 4 penetrating damage with an attack. Nah, he's going to miss instead. Spider-Man Noir's like, I can't finish this off. So I was just like, all right, well, I'm going to see you in the next round. And the next round I played against the Chase Thanos the super rare Thanos from Galactic Guardians, 300-point Thanos, and the Sentry Void. And thank God the Sentry Void couldn't hit for the dam, because I was just eventually able to overwhelm, because the Spider-Man and his leap climb mixed with the Spider-Verse, you know what that happens. All of a sudden, there's a team in your face, and you didn't plan on that. So, but it was a lot of fun. Great fun event. Blue power batteries. I think it's strong when nobody else brings a resource, right? So, also worth noting, one team had 2 different Cosmic Spider-Mans on it. The new one and the old one. Oh, boy, am I glad I didn't have to play against that thing. Ain't nobody like playing against that, right? That was a 12. That was a ton of fun. Oh, geez, I almost Freudian slipped on that one. All right. So Jay and PJ, you guys did something a little bit more exciting. We're gonna start with Jay here. Jay, what did you get up to this past week in Heroclix?
I went to the best store in the entire world, which is Eternal Games, for their Thor Sealed Open.
As part of my partnership, I'm required to say that you mispronounced it. It is Comic Warehouse. Carry on.
Let's try. It's actually 401 Games. So I thought I pulled pretty meh, but I ended up pulling through somehow with one common Loki, who is just, he's annoying tie-up, but then he turns into a really mean attacker with Psychic Blast, 10 and 3, sidestep, and outwit, and a stop click. So he's just annoying or a threat, so good tie-up and whatnot. Sif, who has no move and attack, but she was my best option, and basically served as more tie-up, and she played 5 rounds, and I think she probably made 6 attacks, which is mostly thanks to her having Flurry. Jane Foster, who was actually some pretty decent line of fire blocking against the range in this set. And my main attacker was Icarus, who, good stats, long-ish dial. There's not too much running shot, psychic blast kind of stuff in this set, so he held up as far as his impervious goes, and his stats were good. Leadership rarely came into play, but it's a thing. And then I had 10 points left over, and I had Executioner, so I had his Blood Axe, and I had the Ball and Chain object from Thunderball, and I figured I don't want to lose out on potential range attacks on Icarus for Battle Fury. So I ended up equipping the Ball and Chain to somebody every game and literally never used it. So it happened. It was nice to have the option in case anything ever came up that required it. So my round 1 was against a guy named Denton, who was running Thorbuster, Athena, and Red Leader, which basically translates into the numbers game because Thorbuster already has a 19, 11-4 penetrating period, and is good against Asgardians and whatnot, and deities, which Icarus has. And then he also had the outwit there on Red Leader, so I was afraid to use my Eternal Perplex, and then Athena is good stats plus Eternal Trait. And between her Perplexes and Red Leader, he essentially had about 5 Perplexes going his way, so I was not winning this game, and that's what ended up happening. I think I missed my first attack on Red Leader to just take him out as a problem, but I think he hit his super senses, but I ended up killing him, and then he took the rest of my team, which I didn't think there was a way I could win this game. Just the sheer numbers of him hitting super hard and then me not being able to retaliate due to the defenses was not making this going to be a good game for me. Round 2 was against Alex, who's a friend of mine and a local friend of other people like Brian Tarowski, who was running. What was he running? The Red Hulk, the Hulk, or the character named Hulk, who is She-Hulk but is now named Hulk, who was picking up Frey, and Eric Masterson, nothing on the sideline. I guess I should mention that I didn't have the Jane Thor on my sideline, nor any of the extra Lokis, just what you see is what you get, as Jason would say. Alex just he didn't have as good a swing as I did, so I basically was able to get him first. He hit my Loki onto the outwit, which further helped me basically one-shot one of his figures and then the other, because super strength, high damage, whatnot. And that Eternal Perplex on attack really saved me. I found there was a lot of times where I upped my attack to a 13, going on 18s, and I just hit the 5. So apparently you need 13s to hit now on normal 18s, which reminds me of what was happening on George Masu's end. He said he missed like 21 attacks with the Thor Buster, like needing 6s and 7s in 5 rounds, which is just absolutely crazy. So I'm 1-1. I did the math. I used the awesome calculator website, which I think PJ showed me, the cut website. So 1, 2, and 3 was going to make it in. So I was like, okay, I'll stay. Why not? And because Eternal was also throwing in a lot of extra prizing, like they gave away 2 super boosters at the end if you stayed all the way in. So more amazingness. So I figured, I'll stay. There weren't any battle royals going on anyway. Then round 3, I played against Winner, apparently is his name, who was running Shield Hulk at full points. Regular leader. The same Loki, just one of them. And I feel like something else that basically didn't end up mattering. So for this game, I again had to be very careful of using my perplexes. So I basically had to let him come to me, set myself up properly to tie him down with Loki and Sif, and then hopefully one-shot Red Leader. I think I actually ended up pulling off my first attack with Sif of the whole day, which was a crit hit against Red Leader. So that no super senses on a crit hit actually made a big difference. So she one-shot him, and then I was able to use Perplex for the rest of the game, which helped me a lot. And the rest of the game was just a matter of attacking Hulk when he was pushed to not let him use the monster stats from the Power by Rage trait. So then that was another win. The second to last round was against Tyson, who's actually a young kid who actually played really, really well. I mean, we all obviously know that Isaac is a force of nature in this game, but it's still pretty impressive to see someone that young do so well. What was he playing? He had Red Leader, so again, can't use my all-important Perplex. Miss Marvel, the Kamala Khan one, who also can get outwit. Volstagg, and something, I think the Iron Man, who's not very good, but he's still a thing. He's still somewhat of a threat. So I do very, very careful again this game. And despite the fact that he had pretty good stats with his Perplexes and Miss Marvel ups for attack and all that stuff, he couldn't really connect the hits dice-wise, and my dice were fine. So I ended up winning this one as well. So at this point, I was afraid that I would actually get all those wins, but then just lose in the last round and not make it through to the end. So who did I play against in the last round? A guy named Norm. He was running Cersei, Hercules, the Warrior Soul, and a Rock Troll. So what I basically did was, what did I do? I basically moved Loki in to tie up Cersei. I had Icarus come in and carry Sif up her defense. So in close, she was not going to get hit. And Jane moved out to just maybe do some supporting at some point. So basically, I took out the Hercules. Oh, I think he made a bit of a mistake because he hit my Loki onto his stop click, and with someone with super strength, Hercules chose to knock him back, which then prevented Cersei from following up. Although even then, she would have needed to up her damage twice, and who knows if he was going to do that and risk that. So, and he didn't seem to know the dial. So basically, I had outwit on Loki, which made him unable to want to use Cersei's Eternal trait, and I took out everything but Cersei, and then he missed. He tried to retreat, but he, even with a prob at that point from her dial, he missed sidestep breakaway with a prob and a move breakaway, so it was just not working out for him dice-wise. So I ended up 4-1 in the Swiss, and then making it in. And then we had redraws with... I ran out of Thor, actually. They had exactly enough packs for the number of people that were there, and I was the only one who had a dud pack. So I was a matter of what set they were going to do. We thought they were going to do What If, which was not the idealist set. So then they ended up doing Elseworlds, but instead of the winner having Goblin King, they just had Eldradan. But I ended up playing Necron the Bat God at full points, along with the Dick Grayson Batman, the 50.1, who's not bad. He has outwit and he exists. And then I finished it off with Green Oracle, who thankfully, despite not having Batman ally, got it from Necroon. I actually had a +3 theme. I think the only theme in the top 8. And I think I saw 2 super rares pulled, no chases somehow. So it was basically people making the best of what they could out of basically normal, easy to pull stuff in the sets. My Top 8 was against just the one shifting focus Superman because he's the only one in the set. The Save the President Flash, the Nail 100-point Batman, and the gunfight. No, not the gunfighter. The Clockwork Man, the robot cowboy dude. So he didn't realize that you can now outwit the standard power stealth if they have Batman allies. So he actually had his Batman outside of stealth. So I outwitted his actual stealth, and then I shot him for big numbers with Necroon. Still left him alive. And then he came in with the Superman hit there, and then I basically polished that off. But then he still had... I couldn't hit the Batman, who I think at that point only had a 16 reflexes, but he had a perplex on the Batman now, so he can make his good stats even better. So I ended up losing everything but Necroon, and then Necroon with his high reducers versus a bunch of not such high point characters. Just basically polish them off one at a time. And then round or top 4, I was against Al Jordan, who's fantastic, and the other amazing version of Hal Jordan in the set, which is the uncommon Green Lantern, who's 60 points for running shot pulse wave, along with the same shifting focus Superman and the really annoying John Jones Justice Rider. So what he basically did was have John Jones tie me up as soon as possible, but this was only after I managed to outwit his Superman's toughness, RCE, and perplex up damage on Necroon to one-shot the Superman before he had a chance to do anything. But then he tied me up with John Jones for a while, which is annoying because he has plasticity, toughness, and shape change. So even my Necroon couldn't one-shot him using only one outwit, because if I outwitted his toughness, he had shape change, which isn't ideal. So it was just a matter of trying to kill him, which took too long. And then he managed to set up a lot of pulse waves with his Alderdan, who can choose it, and then the Green Lantern, who could use it. In addition to, after I hit the Green Lantern for 4, he crit hits a support with Al Jordan and then rolls the 6 to heal him all the way back up. So he was a matter of just pick a power being amazing, obviously. Dice are a thing. Even with my theme probs, my characters besides Necron weren't the hardest to hit. So he got ahead, got rid of my support and my theme probs, and then once Necroned on his own against single target pulse waves, he was not living a long time. But he ended up winning the event, so losing to the person who won the event was not something to feel so bad about, but it was a great time. Eternal Games is always a great store to play at, and I got everything from the new open stuff besides Shadowcat, which is pretty good considering how valuable some of them are, because I'm going to try and flip them, but they're also look like just some fun pieces to run.
All right,
it's nice to have competitive prizes that aren't actually competitive, and it's more of a fun environment.
Cool. All right, congrats on the top 4 there, Jay. PJ, you have a different story.
Yes. I went to Fantasy Games in South Bend, Indiana, and played in a 300 constructed WKO. I played the Mistress Death team I wrote an article about. For those of you who didn't read, I'll just go over it real quick. It was Mistress Death with Mjolnir, a Carnage at 10, a Flora Colossus at 10, a Skyscraper Wonder Woman at 15, the 40-point rare Raven, a 65-point Loki with God of Trickery for the 2 free Lokis, a boxing ring, and a teleporter with Shield 7, Black Panther ID, Lex Luthor, Wonder Woman, Nightwing, Green Arrow. Beginning of the game, you swap out the 65-point Loki for the 65-point Black Panther, so you can keep popping out Wakandans and get that ever-important leadership. So there were 20 people in attendance, only 2 of which were playing Unimind. I just want to point that out. I was able to win the event and get me a Shadowcat. It was a lot of fun. I'll touch base a little bit on the games I played. In the first round of Swiss, I played against Keith, and he was playing a Worldbreaker Hulk with 2 Surters, Carnage, a Blood Axe for Hulk, Supreme Intelligence on Hulk. We were talking about it a little before the show. It's actually a monster theme team, but I don't know that he realized it was a monster theme team because he wasn't rolling initiative bonus. But I'll talk more. Like our matchup, I won. It was fairly lopsided. His dice kind of weren't ideal, and then he cleared on a turn when he probably should have just pushed. And but I'll talk more about that matchup because I play him again later. And so round 2, I play against Christian, and he was playing 150-point Odin, 75-point Cosmic Spider-Man, and I don't remember the rest. I just know he moved up a little bit. I rolled a 6 on my teleporter to give charge to Mistress Death, so I ran all the way out. After turn 1, I picked up Mjolnir, and then my turn 2, I rolled that 6 and charged and thumped his green arrow for 6 in the face, and it died. So it only took about 3 more turns after that because I would suicide my Wakandan warriors that I was generating to clear tokens from Mistress Death, so she would never be tokened up. So I just got to. I never had a turn where I was forced to clear with Mistress Death that game. Third round, I played against Lance, and Lance was playing Beta Ray Bill with a main force Chase Green Arrow, along with 75-point Goblin King, couple IDs. Same thing kind of happened in this matchup. He moved up a little bit, realized I was just going to throw a hammer at him if he didn't advance. He moves up a little bit more, and then I rolled charge. So ran over and killed Green Arrow. Then slowly whittled away the rest of his team, suiciding my own pieces. Pretty much played the exact same as the round before. He still made top 8. So after 3 rounds, I was undefeated with just a smidge under 900. Going into top 8, I played against a guy. Let me remember his name here. Andrew. There we go. It was actually, he said it was his first time playing in an event outside of his own home. So he made top 8 at a WKO. He played Double Dinosaur, 75-point Goblin King, 2 of the 15-point Pogs, a Gertrude Old Lace, and 45-point Mephisto. No off-the-table elements except for, no, I lied, just no off-the-table elements. So he advanced a little bit. I Hawkeyed, killed a bunch of little stuff. I then immediately get to restock Hawkeye the next turn, and I kind of felt a little dirty about it. I think he only scored 10 points, and that was just me suiciding Carnage so that I could clear a token. So that game was fairly lopsided. It was a lot of fun. He was a super nice guy. He was happy with it. He was happy he made top 8. So he took a lot from it. I talked to him a lot about, what he could have done differently and could have been a little more optimal. So it was good. He had a good time. Top 4, there's a lot more to talk about. I played against my teammate, KJ Foster. And I have to say this was probably the best game of Heroclix that I've ever been a part of. We easily played 40-plus turns on both sides. It got to where he's playing Unimind Nighthawk, the Atom stuff, the fun team, right?
Yeah.
And I advance, get my Mjolnir equipped. He's like, well, I got to go for it. And he runs out, calls up Hawkeye, but doesn't perplex damage. He has to go range and attack. So he kills all 3 of my Colossals, kills 1 of my Lokis, puts damage on Raven, he hits everything until he tries to shoot my Black Panther and misses by 1. But he gimped my team pretty bad. So I go and I get a hit on Nighthawk and doesn't kill him because it's only 4, but it's a good sizable hit. And now he's got the Touch of Death on him. He ends up cleaning up everything but my Mistress Death, and then 1 Wakandan warrior that I made, and 1 Loki. And then it's just his Mistress Death, or just his Unimind, and I kill his Colossals. Then I'm able to finally kill Nighthawk. Then I finally pop his Unimind with I hit him for 2 with Mistress Death, which is always the plan. Then I can hit him for 3 through his Invincible with Green Arrow to pop him. So I get that off. And So he ends up running away because he has a point lead at this point in time because he had killed Mistress Death once and I came back. He forgets that Loki with the light object does enough damage to kill through toughness. So I face up with a Loki and I use him to kill Thena, which was a huge mistake and it should have been Cersei that I should have went for. But he kills the Loki with Cersei because he outwits the shape change and hits to the super senses. So all I have left is a Wakandan warrior and Mistress Death. Then I Real Boy Lex Luthor, the 45-point Lex. Then I Real Boy the 40-point Diana Prince. And I just start playing the chase game as he runs away. He spreads him out. I catch up to Makari and I kill him. And then we're playing the dancing game for 20 turns easily, chasing Cersei around. I actually got the kill on Makari with the Lex because where he positioned, I got to sidestep and move, and the next turn sidestep and punch him with my Perplex prob. I was like, yes. So I end up to where I have Diana Prince on one side of a blocking in the Junkyard map. I have Lex on the other side, and then Mistress Death standing in the middle. And I'm like, all I got to do is wait for him to get 2 tokens, and Mistress Death can reach him wherever he goes. So I'm just being patient, not moving her at all, waiting and waiting, moving around my ID pieces. He's outwitting and perplexing and phasing, and he's playing it right. And then the moment he goes phase, I'm like, gotcha. He's like, what? So he takes the second token, sets down back in the corner. So I move Mistress Death up with her 10 range, and then he has to clear. He perplexes his defense. I use Lexus perplexed up my attack and finally get the kill. We ended up both scoring over 500 in the entire game. Yeah, he also killed my Nightwing when I called it in, and he also killed my Hawkeye after I cleaned his Colossals up. So there was a lot of death and destruction that game. I think the final score was like I actually lost on points, but he didn't have anything left of his force.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. Then going into the finals, I play against Keith again, who again is the World Breaker Hulk team. I win, or he wins map, and then so it goes. Or no, I won map. I won map. We played on the Junkyard. I put the ring in the mud pit. I explained to him how the mud pit worked, but I ended up just coming up in his face anyway. So this game, I roll charge on turn 2 again. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just go in as quick as I can. I charge up onto the Hulk with Mistress Death, lay a good hit into him. I get the touch of death on him. He apparently thought the touch of death was only for Mistress Death's attacks. So the next turn, I call in Green Arrow, and I'm like, a 14 on your 18 for 8. And or a 13 on your 18 for 8, and I missed both times. So I'm like, well, that's fun, I guess. So I immediately have to start scrambling to get away from this giant Hulk, who's super upset. Apparently, so is my cat. So I am really tired at this point in the game. Like I was telling you guys earlier, I get the little parachute 2 to restock slot 2. So I'm like, all right, great. I'm going to restock my Green Arrow in slot 3. And then he's like, wait, what? I'm like, wait, what? So I'm like, hold on. Let me take this out of there. I'm clearly trying to cheat. Couple turns later, he had healed off of he whacked Raven, whacked a Wakandan warrior. So he's off of his stop click. And then I finally actually reveal the 3. Restock my Green Arrow. I'm like, all right, got him this time. So I call in Green Arrow. I'm like, wait a minute. Hulk's stop click is on damage. So, all right, well, I'm going to shoot you anyways. Like, it deals 1. And that's when I explained to him, I'm like, no, it actually does 6. Because he forgot about the ignores defense and the touch of death. So it puts him to his stop. Then he colossal pushes to try to hit Mistress Death again to kill her. He hits, but I hit the super senses. So then I use Raven and shoot him with penetrating psychic blast because she was still alive, and hit for 6 penetrating, which actually was enough to kill him. With because why not have a 40-point piece that can deal 6 penetrating damage? The game was a ton of fun. I'd never met a lot of the people that I was introduced to up there. I'd probably only knew 2 or 3 people. So it was awesome seeing a bunch of new faces, especially since the place is an hour and a half away from me. I met a lot of people who watched the show, who like listened to podcasts, who knew who I was. So it was kind of cool to, I had a guy that wanted to stop and take a selfie, send it to his friend and make him jealous. And I need to take a second. I have to call out my wife for being a dirty unbeliever, because I always tell her about these things, like, just my experiences at the events. And she swears up and down that none of this ever happens, that I'm making it all up, that people don't know who I am, that people don't like me. She's like, you're just a normal person. You can't be any of that. I'm like, fine, I'm going to call you out. So I have a request for anybody who watches. If you want to add me on Facebook, find my wife on there in the about, and then message her, with any experiences from meeting me or anything like that, to rub it in her face that she's wrong. That would be much appreciated.
Yeah, I kind of get the same thing as it is when I go to a Heroclix tournament or a major Heroclix event. All of a sudden, I'm reminded people watch the show. So it's it can get a little overwhelming at times, to say the least, and I'm sure PJ's feeling it right now too. Because PJ is now not only part of the show, but he's also a really, really accomplished Heroclix player. And that's kind of what we needed to replace Mike Payne, was a successful Ginger. So
there's not a whole lot. There's like me, Mike, Tim.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Preview season's almost over because the set's out on Wednesday anyway, but there's a couple last previews from Harley Quinn that came out this week, and we're all kind of excited and drooling at the mouth to get a look at these. So let's get this show on the road, and we're going to start with the one that a lot of people are talking about right now in the hopes that we get at least a puddle in a map somewhere, and that is King Shark. King Shark comes with the Secret 6, Suicide Squad, and Animal keywords. Ooh, that's a good keyword. Only 6 of us is this trait. Now, you're going to see this trait on a lot of the Secret 6, so we're going to shorten it for other ones. It's a trait that says stealth, but only if your force has 3 or more characters. Ignores hindering for movement, but only if your force has 5 or more characters, and modify all combat values by +1, but only if your force has exactly 6 characters. He's got another trait, me and my chum, sidestep and free if King Shark occupies water terrain. Move him up to his speed value. And then he's got another special damage power on his first 2 clicks of his 90-point dial. Giant Hungry Shark. Exploit weakness and shape change. He's got 4 damage on his first 2 clicks of the 90-point dial. Then you can drop it to a 50-point dial. It's 4 clicks. Starts with toughness, goes to invulnerable, starts with an exploit weakness, plasticity, blades. It's a pretty cool figure at first glance. PG, what are your thoughts on King Shark?
I absolutely love this beast. Not only just for sealed, but for constructed play. For sealed, he's obviously you play him if you pull him. It's your super rare slot. He brings exploit. He brings shape change. He free moves if you can get in water, but it shouldn't be too hard to get a theme. Again, in constructed though, what he really brings is he has a sidestep and then a 9 free move without any modifiers. Then he can call somebody in because IDs are ridiculous, and he can just do that. And he's at the right point value. You can call an Arrow. You can call an Hawkeye. You can call it Superman. Just whoever he wants. Or if you don't want to do that, he can just 12-5 flurry somebody from 11 squares away. Why not?
Why not? All right. Mike, your thoughts?
I'm so in love with King Shark. I'm a shark. I was a big fan of Secret 6. Love the story. Love it. There you go. Jay's putting up the picture, I think.
Oh,
I'm a shark. So I was already excited to know that there was going to be Secret 6 and more Suicide Squad in the set. This figure, like PJ nailed all of it, man. Like I will 100%. I've already made a 6-figure 300-point Suicide Squad team with him on it. I'm so excited for this figure. Absolutely, I would play him if I pulled him in sealed. There are not many modern maps, I think, right now that actually really have much in the way of water that you'll get to benefit from this, but who knows what's on the horizon. Maybe we've got a map in this set that's coming that's going to help him out with this. But I'm so excited for this figure to play him. For all the reasons, again, him alone, just being able to move that and then all of a sudden flurry with the 12 attack, 5 damage if you've got the 6 figures on there with the modifier, moving him to call somebody in afterwards at 90 points. You got a lot of great call-in options for that. I'm just so in love with this figure, man. Even the sculpt, look at the sculpt.
It does look really cool.
I'm in love with you again, WizKids.
Jay?
Yeah, I think this guy is the Iceman of this set, being the, oh my god, sculpt, which is actually a little dwarfed by the holy hell dial of... Yeah, I'm just going to jump across the map and call it an irrelevant ID card because I just feel like it because I'm a shark. It's funny, though, because I was thinking about it, because even if they didn't change ID cards, he would just do the same thing. So it's just a matter of who would have been good then and he's good now, and we just need that water map or a new bucket of water object. That would be pretty cool. Or just another way to just make one square of water because he just needs to start in one. Apparently, he can just jump from one little puddle and just jump across the map.
Now, here's the question.
I'm glad you said that, Jay, before we get into that. I think this guy makes Casey Aquaman relevant.
Yep.
20 points can make a square of water terrain.
Totally, dude. Oh, absolutely.
Better suited for these foes with the Atom, so if you win map, you can replace him with a Retaliator if you already have a water map.
There it is.
Those are great ideas.
But is there really all the only water maps I can think of are the castle and Manhattan Bridge, both of which have the it's hard to jump from the water into the actual main area of the map where stuff is going on. So
well, here's the question I have. So whatchamacallit? Sorry. Hindering, we can still put Smoke Cloud on water, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Smoke Cloud still counts as hindering terrain, right?
Yep.
So one of the things I was already thinking of with him is Nightshade, who has Suicide Squad, because she has the power where she for free can move into hindering square within 5, and then she takes a power action. She can bring a friendly and put them in a square of hindering next to her. So if she jumped into maybe Smoke on water, she could bring him over, and now he's in water. On top of that, he also has sidestep as part of that. So he can move from that hindering into water and then move more. So now all of a sudden he could have 11 movement plus the 5 she gives him plus the sidestep. That's like the map.
There is so much potential in this character right now, just on what we're saying here alone, and even at a 50 point, just as a tool to bring something out, is still not a bad investment for him. So,
well, 50 point on a 6-figure team means he's going to have 9, 11, 18, and 4.
No.
Those are still great stats in a 50 point figure. Are you kidding me?
Blade exploit. Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Like, oh my God, King Shark is the king. He's the king.
Has 5. Now, it says if your force, it doesn't matter when you have that many figures on your force. So if you happen to be bringing out a bunch of bystanders, all of a sudden he can get +1 to all his stats too. If you have something like a double dinosaur on your team or a penguin, or listen to what we're saying about this guy. There's so much nonsense potential on this guy, and I love every bit of it.
Yeah.
God, the sheer swing you can get with the Green Arrow column is disgusting.
What's a map?
Yeah. It's the map.
So WizKids has now said we like sharks because we all remember Armageddon, right?
Look, he's got dolphin speed. He's a dolphin speed symbol figure who's relevant.
Words can make Aquaman relevant just left my mouth. All right. Let's go into the Super Prime territory with Harley Quinn. She got the Arkham Asylum and Green Lantern core keywords. Harley Quinn's is a real name. She's got a special attack power, which she only has in her last 4 clicks there. Giant green hammer, duh. gives her Quake and Giant Reach 3, which I've actually just recently put together that WizKids intends that Quake does work with Giant Reach. Way to go. Ooh. I'm guessing by the non-answer I got from the rules team, which, I have my little discussion about that later on. But G, do I have to be good now? G, do I have to be good now? Barrier, energy shield, deflection, and invulnerability on her defense, which is on her first 3 clicks of the 125-point dial, or only the first click of the 100-point dial. She also got special damage power in her first 4 clicks. Helping's not my strong suit. Adjacent opposing characters modify the combat values by -1. So she comes in 125 or 100.7 range, downroll, flies, and it's got the Green Lantern team ability. Mike, what are your thoughts here on the Prime Harley Quinn?
She's an interesting little figure. I could see me playing her thematically in some larger point events, like maybe like a 600-point build, 500-point build. Depending on what I pulled in sealed, I maybe could see me playing her at the 100 points. Though, Pulse Wave and Hypersonic are not going to be used together. I don't know. Interesting figure, fun little figure. Definitely not going to see competitive play. I can't imagine her seeing competitive.
All right, Jay?
I'm just a little underwhelmed. I just feel like there's a good base set of ideas here. I just feel like the execution was a little off. Like, I don't understand why this figure has barrier for that many clicks unless they were literally giving it to her for free, which I can kind of see. Cost-wise, 10 attack isn't... It's a good casual figure, that's for sure. Definitely not competitive, but this is a competitive show, so... Yeah, sealed-wise, I could see some potential here, because there's at least enough perplex to make her at least have a passable attack value, in addition to if she's adjacent down their defense too, so... Yeah, definitely a sealed consideration, but not so much with constructed, unfortunately.
All right. PJ?
Pretty much in the same boat. I think in sealed, I don't consider a consideration. I think it's probably an autoplay. She has good enough values, and then her damage power is good enough to justify playing her as your primary attacker in a sealed team. Especially like her last 4 clicks are her best offensive clicks, which is kind of awkward. I think I would like her a lot more if you could still carry with Hypersonic, because Green Lantern ability and Hypersonic speeds kind of doesn't really work together at all, so it seems awkward to me. But I actually think the Rare Prime is better than her, so yeah, it's kind of weird that she's a super rare Prime. Cool sculpt.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain about getting this as a sealed piece. Probably not going to see a lot of team builds from me either, and probably going to more likely see some competitive play, casual play more than other things from me as well. All right, next up, Green Lantern, God of Light. Green Lantern Corps, Justice League, New Gods, Cosmic, and Deity keyword. Real name is Hal Jordan. Oh, I almost said Al Jordan somehow there. God of Light is his trait. Opposing characters within 6 squares and lower points can't use stealth. His special movement power, I am everywhere. Power, place Green Lantern, God of Light, in a square that's within half his speed value, then make an attack. He's got special defense, and then he's got that on his first 2 and last 2 clicks. He's got special defense on his first 3 clicks. Mother Ring, can you restore Oa? Barrier, Impervious, friendly characters adjacent to Green Lantern, God of Light, or one of his barrier markers, modify defense +1. I Am Light is his special damage power in his first 3 clicks. Enhancement, range combat expert. Opposing characters hit by his attacks, modify defense by -1. He's got the Quintessence and Green Lantern team ability. He flies, has 8 range, 2 targets. Jay, what do you think of the Green Lantern God of Light?
He's definitely not one of the better chases. It's funny how he was previewed on the same day as the Prime Harley Green Lantern, because I have a lot of similar issues of incompatible powers, barrier on a character this expensive, and whatnot. He should perform fine enough in sealed, and I would probably consider a call-in with him if there was a meta character at 175 points making the rounds, but... As is, I just don't really see him seeing much constructed play, really, unless as a maybe real boy consideration, maybe.
All right, PJ.
I think he's a 175-point support piece. He doesn't do enough. Like, yeah, cool, he has Pulse Wave, but he has no move and attack on his dial other than move and make a basic attack. So, it just feels, again, power compatibility's off on this piece. I like the supporty stuff. You know, the barrier, the +1 defense if you're next to him, or the barrier and the enhancement. But again, you're paying 175 points for that. I agree with Jay that he might see a little bit of ID play as maybe a real boy, just because the inspiration's good for Pog teams. But I don't know. I feel like I'd just almost always rather play the 35-point Green Lantern.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue pretty much what those guys are saying. He's a 175-point hot mess. You know, weird power combos. Again, it's like, yeah, why put barrier on characters that they look at first like this is an attacking figure? So why the hell are you putting barrier, especially at the start? Maybe later on the dial, I could understand if there was a barrier there when he's hurt and he's trying to protect himself or his friends. But right off the bat, it's like, what the hell am I going to do with that? What is the point? If I'm putting a barrier on a 175-point figure early on in a game, there's problems. There's problems going on in that game. Sealed, again, looking at him as being a chase, making me think about what else I probably pulled then from the rest of my two boosters. Probably gonna play him again with the numbers at least. You know, pulse waving for 4. Maybe I get lucky and I pull Janette this set. She's 50 points and got TK, so there's a way for me to throw her up the map and do that. But definitely no way would I play him in competitive. No, man. I'm playing Maestro at 175 points before I'm playing this guy. So
fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see much to add. Real boy for competitive play, definite play for sealed play. It's weird because I look at him as 175 points of fairly protected against most things. Gets rid of a lot of the stealth issues you might run into in sealed because if you don't come with that option, stealth needs to be gotten rid of in sealed play. Trust me, there's not enough ignores hindering in the set to say otherwise. All right, next up. Red Tornado, as played by Abigail Matilda Mahunkel. Justice Society and past keyword. She's got a simpler time trait for those of you who don't remember from the Joker's Wild set. Once per turn for all characters with this trait. If a character uses the JSA team ability to replace this defense value with Red Tornadoes, if the attack missed, heal the target 1 click. Then she's got a special damage power in her first 2 clicks. Come and get it! It's support. But you can use a double power action, place any number of other friendly characters within 4 squares adjacent to Red Tornado, and then heal each placed character with the Justice Society keyword 1 click. Then it's a sidestep, defend. That special power is on her first 2 clicks, 45 points. JSA, late dial support with some regen as well. She is indomitable. I believe Jay's her the last one. So PJ, Mahunkel.
100% play in sealed. Barring the fact that you're playing something absurdly high in cost, or better synergistically, but 18 defend and support with sidestep is worth playing pretty much always. For constructed, a Red Tornado ID still in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Red Tornado ID with her, it lets you call in a support and a 18 defense for the turn. Unfortunately, you can't do the double power action as a call in, but I don't know. I could see it popping up. Red Tornado's got a pretty solid inspiration, so hands out TK.
Yep.
Being used.
Mike?
Yeah, definitely. She's got a lot of great value to her at 45 points and what she can do. Looking at my favorite way of building theme and meta, the meta.
I play Themata.
Themata. I like to play Themata. I would definitely play her. I mean, Yakeem Thunder and her would definitely get along quite nicely as a sort of backup plan to help him out. Even more so, filling her in on a nice, juicy, like 6-7 figure JSA team with all those fun new combos. I think she could be very effective. She could be a great support piece on a constructed team. I like her a lot.
Jay?
It's good to see a support piece who has defenses that allow her to not just be a liability. Because, what's her name? Night Nurse has stealth and Jane has the range protection. But if you punch them, they're going down easily and fast. And hypersonic is definitely a thing we have now between Jakeem and Unimind. So it's good to see that. 18 defend is good. 3 damage on her with a sidestep is not bad either. TK inspiration is potentially a thing if you don't want to call in the really good Force Blast Red Tornado. And if you have Jakeem and you want free healing in addition to the other healing and all the repositioning and whatnot, yeah, definitely a consideration for both sealed and constructed, maybe as an ID card or maybe even as a full character.
Yeah. Overall, just a great value character for 45 points, and it's nice to see Mahunkel out of the Pog scenario. All right. Next up, Janette. Secret 6 monster. Only 6 of us is her trait. Provoking the Banshee is her special defense power on the first 2 clicks. Toughness, Janette maybe takes a maximum of 1 damage from attacks unless the attack roll is doubles. She's 50 points. Starts with some TK, mid-dial, pulse wave. Mike, what do you think of Janette?
I like her. I again, maybe not quite to the level of being included in much constructed, because of she's not really bringing much to the table for those 50 points more than kind of like the TK up front. I mean, she clicks and ends up on running shot. Pulse wave is nice and only a 50-point figure. Personally, though, I could see me playing her a fair amount, both because of the keywords that she has, both in terms of theme with Secret 6. We already talked about that trait, which I love. King Shark, would love to have a fun time with her as well. Here's another way to help move him up the map even more. But also mystical. It's nice to get a lower point figure maybe to fit on a team that's a mystical team that wants the good old-fashioned TK, throw you up the map and charge, running shot, hypersonic, whatever your pleasure is. So I do like her as a possibility in constructed, though I feel if you really searched what's out there, you'd come up with what she's got through other means, if that makes sense. But personally, I like her, and I think she could find some constructive play.
All right, Jay?
If I'm pulling this in sealed and not playing it, there's a really good reason, because that's a whole lot of WoW in a really small package. You should have more than 3 characters, so she shouldn't be a liability with her stealth, and then even with what there is, not much of it ignores stealth, so she should be seeing that second click. And although it's so unlikely you'll get the +1 stats, if you can pull that off, she is an incredible threat. There's just a 50-point 11-4 in sealed. Oh my god. Not as much constructed though, because at least not now. Maybe in the future, maybe, but not a consideration for the moment.
All right, PJ.
I think I would consider her for constructed. I think it's pretty easy to get at 6 figures when you're playing constructed, because like Jason said about King Shark earlier, it counts bystanders, it counts retaliators. Like it's very easy to get to the +1s. Stealth is excellent, especially on a 50-point piece. Then she only takes 1 damage, and then she clicks onto a 4 damage pulse wave. Like, she brings a lot to the table. And as Jay said, if you pull her in sealed, you're probably playing her. I think the only way you don't is if you pull like Lex Chase, where you could only play those 2, because then she wouldn't get any of her trait activation. So that's probably one of the few situations that you don't play her, and probably even then you still think about playing her just for the TK. So I don't know, I think she's almost an auto play if you open her at a rare slot. So that's something we needed to see.
Yeah, it's a good auto play and rare is nice and healthy. Also worth noting is this is a keyword that has a lot of people talking and not talking about, and it's monster. It's a keyword that's very capable of making things. We had actually an entire set recently come out with that keyword in the Undead set. Belphegor is pretty good at making characters last I checked. He can make 2 on turn 1.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot of shenanigans to be had with Janette, and you just gotta. The team that you make has the potential for her. She isn't outwit proof on the defense power, unfortunately, but they're committing an outwitter and an attacker to a 50-point character. Let them.
You know what's fun is that a 300-point modern limited monster team is her, Goblin King at 75 and Maestro at 175. Just saying.
And I'll give her stealth.
Good
and
stuff,
you have a TK her and a backup pulse waver in case the Goblin King doesn't pull through.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, Kite Man. This is
Okay.
all right, Kite Man. It's the Gotham City Underworld. His real name is Charles Brown.
Oh God!
I got a rock. That's basically what it's saying right there. Real name Charlie Brown. You got a rock in your rare slot. Rare, figure number 44. He's got a trait, Kite Man. Hell yeah! Passenger 2. At the beginning of your turn, if Kite Man is holding an object, he may move up to 2 squares.
Oh my
He's
God!
got energy shield across his 4-click dial. It comes in at 15 points at the Batman enemy team ability. Jay. Kite Man. Everybody need a second to take it all in here? There's a lot going on. Did you do I have to read it again for you?
This is 1-800-LIVE and dial over again. Oh my God. It's not the best piece you want to pull in sealed. Although taxiing is good, but if you pull this and then another dud rare, you're not having a good time. Constructed wise, I do appreciate his existence because Batman enemy-based teams have little to no carry and all stealth, so no move and attack and no way to get anywhere. So a taxi's nice. Although the new rules kind of already fixed that problem because Joker thugs can just carry anybody now with the Underworld team ability, so he solved a problem a little too late for me. But I can see maybe 4 clicks. I can see him as a potential taxi masterminder to carry my Jokers for sure. But I'll be happy about him in sealed though.
All right, PJ.
So yeah, if this is one of your rares in sealed, you're probably not too happy about it, especially if like your other one is like sand. You're rocking 50 points from your 2 rare slots. So even though if your other booster is good, like you pull it, something relevant at all that doesn't fly, a taxi's good. For constructed, this guy is absolutely competitive. It's 15 points for a 2-target taxi or a 2-passenger taxi. Absolutely gets played.
Yeah, this guy's gonna be played in multiples, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, and it's Charlie Brown. Come on.
Yeah, honestly, that's part of what makes me laugh the most is that we've got Kite Man, which is just so. We have Kite Man, but that he at 15 points to carry 2 people with Gotham City Underworld, absolutely, I could play him in competitive. And on a theme competitive team. There's lots of great combinations. Bane would love to get a ride up the map, I'll tell you that. He hates the slow walking approach, but I totally think it scares me that I'm making teams in my head that involve Kite Man. I never thought this day would come. I'm really not sure how to react to it. I feel it's up is down and left is right. But if I did pull him in sealed, oh yeah, something would fly, and it would be Kite Man across the room as I throw him against the wall. Because that's you don't want to see that coming out of your booster. That's a complete waste of a slot right there.
in Kite Man's defense, as far as a pull-in seal, there are some uncommon bombs in this set. It's even part of the conversation we have later on. But that said, hilarious that this guy's here. I feel like this is preemptively the next joke towards Killer Moth. I feel like I'm going to pull one of these in one of my WKOs this weekend, and I'm going to laugh it off. I promise.
Oh yeah, he's going to be like my Foggy Nelson. I'm going to pull him in every sealed. I'm going to pull this guy. That's what's going to happen. You just watch.
So I'm really like, again, if I pull him in sealed, I'm hoping my other pack has something half decent, but then that will probably get me to use him for sure. So, all right, next up, Dr. Midnight. He's the All-Star Squadron, Justice Society Pass, and Scientist keywords. Ignores hindering for a line of fire. He's got a simpler time trait, and he reduces damage taken by additional 1 if it's a range attack if they're sharing his defense. Then he's got a trait, Hootie. Free, once per game, generate a Hootie bystander. Hootie has charge, 10 attack is tiny, 17 defense, and exploit weakness. And Hootie's actions don't count against your action total. His actions in general, not any specific type of action, his actions. And then Dr. Midnight also has Smoke Cloud. Friendly characters occupying these Smoke Cloud markers can use stealth. He's 45 points, starts with 2 clicks per plex. He's got a special attack power on clicks 1, 3, and 4. He's got combat reflexes, 4 range, JSA, team ability. PJ, Dr. Midnight.
I think this guy's pretty cool. Definitely in sealed. It's 2 bodies and it generates a taxi. So
tiny taxi.
Tiny taxi, sorry. But it's still a charge 10 attack, 1 exploit piece with, and like that's just on its own. But even so, him at 45 without the bystander is good because you have stealth and you have reflexes, which is an excellent power combination. And then you have perplex. You can't really ask for a whole lot more. And worst case, he generates stealth for your whole team.
To address the Discord, no, he cannot call in a blowfish token. Mike, your thoughts?
Jeez. Is it ironic that he's the only one who couldn't appreciate Hooters?
Oh, I'll get you guys for all of these.
Woo! Anyway, to be honest, I think I've been waiting for a Dr. Midnight again for a long time since was it Origins? Was that the last Dr. Midnight that we had? Good Dr. Midnight?
Collateral Damage. Also, I don't know which was first or last.
Yeah. So I was actually, I don't know, I looked at him and I was kind of disappointed. I think really I felt like I would love to see support top dial and not near the end of the dial because I feel like he's never going to get to it. He's just going to fly past it on his way to death. Sealed, depends what else I pull, whether or not I can really benefit. I mean, yeah, 45 points is enough that to have somebody who can hide, generate another figure, and the perplex is good. So sealed, I'll definitely consider him, but it's going to be based on other stuff. Yeah, I'm a little, I don't know. I'm just a little sad. He's not what I had hoped for. So maybe I was expecting too much of something else. And I got him, and I'm not happy. So, yeah.
All right. Jay?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with Mike in every way. But to address the dial and not the character, which is a whole other issue, sealed-wise, he's good, especially because 2 bodies for the Sacred Six is always a good thing. It's not a bad simpler time if you only are going to have a couple options, and, and the Smoke Cloud, yeah, it's good, especially with the lack of improved targeting hindering. It's a decent bystander, especially if you can up his damage and whatnot. But constructed-wise, I just feel like if I play him, I'm paying 45 points for the equivalent of Tony Zuko's the Tony Zuko Pog, because you're perplexed, you have a bystander who can attack, and you have support on top of that. So I don't really see this guy getting play as far as constructed goes, at least not for the foreseeable future. But then again, that is a good smoke cloud variant, and if you can position him to set it up and whatnot, I can do some work.
Holy smokes, Hootie has the JSA team ability as well. I missed that.
No.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
That was so
he's
tiny,
got
I
a
mist it.
uncle to go with that.
Holy
We're not
crap.
used to ever really looking there, assuming to find something.
I just caught that. I was just like, wow.
Oh, that makes it different.
Oh my god. Wow. Yeah,
Okay, that changes things. That's another figure to put in to create a chain.
well, no, because you can't chain anymore.
What? What?
Yeah, you can only copy printed. You can't chain with any of those team abilities anymore. No Batman, no Signature Syndicate, no none of those.
Why have you done this to me, WizKids? It took me 14 years to actually remember all this crap. Now I got to remember all this new crap.
I mean,
I love
unremembered things.
Trust
back
me.
to working as intended.
Oh, I've unremembered enough things. Thank you very much.
Trust me when I say I feel your pain, because the Defenders, Batman Enemies, JSA, and Syndicate are all keywords and characters I love. So I felt this really bad in particular.
Oh, man. All my poor Spider-Man villains.
Ugh.
Damn you.
Anyway, I'm going to jump on the good dial. I'll use it in sealed for sure. Would love it with a Kite Man. Come at me, bro.
Hootie and the Kite Man.
I only want to be with you.
Oh.
All right, next up, Sand. All-Star Squadron, Justice Society, and Detective keywords. Sandy Hawkins is her real name. Simpler Time gives super senses. And he's got a special move and power in his first 2 clicks. Facing teleport. When Sand uses it after resolutions, he can use Force Blast at no cost. Indomitable, 6 range. He's got range combat expert, some late dial probability control. 35 points. I believe this is Jay's turn.
Funnily enough. As far as competitive goes, for both sealed and constructed, I guess actually sealed a little worse because he is your super rare. But this is a very good dial for the points. This is not exactly what I personally wanted out of the character, but it is still a good dial, and I very much appreciate that we have finally gotten him in clicks. And that is all I will say.
All right. PJ?
Kind of like what you said for sealed, you're not excited about pulling this guy. You probably play it if you do. I think it's good enough. I do think for constructed, when built appropriately, this piece can be a force. It does have an 18 defense with JSA. It does have free force blast, which shouldn't be shrugged off. And then you never know if that random RCE might become relevant after you force blast somebody into a wall. And then next turn, if they don't do anything about it, you can RCE them because you are indomitable with 35 points. So I think you get a lot of value for little piece. So no, I like it. Random detective keyboard too. Why not?
Detectives are great. Mike?
Yeah, actually, I definitely not excited, like we said, to pull him in sealed. There's a lot of other stuff in the set I'd much rather have at, surprisingly enough, commons and uncommons I would much rather have over this guy in a sealed environment. But I agree with PJ. I think there's something to this guy. I think there's a lot of potential there to just move anywhere 8 squares and free force blast somebody is a huge move, not just for repositioning potential, but for the damage that could cause, separating a team, dropping a guy off a roof, all kinds of fun stuff like that. On top of that, JSA, and as you mentioned, it's now printed and we can't chain. Well, he can jump into the middle of a group of JSA figures with his 35 points, give them all 18 by actually touching them all, which sounds so wrong. And then jump
Sand
somewhere
just
else.
gets everywhere.
Yeah, and maybe then next turn he jumps out of the group to the other side and force blasts somebody towards your guys. Think about Frogman. We never thought Frogman would be effective, and some people managed to use him quite nicely in some constructive teams. So I think Sand could be very interesting, but definitely I don't want to see him in any of my 4 boosters this weekend.
I'm not going to have such a problem with him in my 4 boosters, but I also saw the power of the Freedom Force in Sealed, and that was such a good trait, and I was able to effectively use it. I also want to point out something I learned this weekend as well, and I didn't discuss it. You know what Frogman's great for? Putting people into poison. So if you happen to have somebody with poison, you can get a good positioning with sand, knock them into your poisoner, then you can take your free action poison and follow up with an attack.
Bifrost Bridge.
Or, push him into Bifrost Bridge. There's a lot of potential in this character, I think, and I wouldn't complain about it. Again, I took a good look at some of the commons and uncommons. I'm not going to be sad about some of the low point rares and super rares I'm seeing because there is still some potential in the lower slots. All right, next up in the chase slot, the Flash, God of Death, Apocalypse, Justice League, Deity, Speedster keywords, Barry Allen is real name. God of Death is his trait. Opposing characters within 6 squares and lower points can't be healed. He's got the Soul Harvest trait. Steal energy when an opposing character is KO'd. After resolutions, heal the Flash, God of Death, 1 click. If the KO'd character and the character, if he KO'd the character and the character was 75 points or more, also remove an action token from him. He's got a special attack power on his last 3 clicks and no escape from death. Precision strike free if he has 0 or 1 action tokens. Make a close attack. He's 125 points. He ignores hindering for movement, JLA, and quintessence. Team abilities. I believe we start with PJ on this one.
Yeah. So I'm pretty confident in my statement that this is the best chase for its value for constructed. He's just awesome. Like I don't have a way to dumb it down. His values are great. The 11 attack is workable since he's only 125 points. With that 19 defense with an uncounterable super senses and a 14 move with uncounterable hypersonic. He has self-healing. Granted, you can probably just one-shot him, but at 125 points, it's not impossible to possess him. It's still not unrealistic to pay 150 points for this piece with a Brainiac or an Eclipso on it. I don't know. I think all in all, he's just an excellent piece. He has a good power synergy. I love the free precision strike thing at the end of his dial that you could, if you're already tied up, you can attack them and then phase away 13 squares. And I just think this guy's incredible. Also, as an ID piece, he's not awful. I'm not a big fan of hypersonic pieces on Collins, but still not terrible.
All right. Mike.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love him. I think he's fantastic. 14, 11, 19 defense, 4 damage on this guy at 125 points. I am 100% playing him if I pull him in sealed. I may even get up and run around the room a little bit like he looks like he's running around the room. I have a big place in my heart for Flash. I love Flash and Flash characters. I definitely love Hypersonic in spite of all the things that have happened to it over the years and the nerfs that have happened to it over the years. Moving, attacking, and moving again is still great. He's a fantastic piece. I mean, come on, Quintessence. I love him. He's wow. He could like PJ said, he could be one hit killed, but a 19 defensive super senses that you can't get rid of is still pretty juicy. At 125 points, there's enough room to have support pieces that can have modifiers and other things to help. There's enough room to put a possessor on him. I think he's fantastic.
All right, Jay?
I slightly disagree about best chase, so I still feel like Lex is just phenomenal. Yeah, lots to love here. Just great values, lots of healing. Stopping healing, although I can't really think of too much healing right now, but still, who knows? That could be very relevant. I guess stopping Tony Zuko from doing his thing is kind of annoying. But yeah, just great values, great dial length, great survivability with all that healing. Amazing move. I mean, the worst speed he essentially gets is the 13 because 12 plus 1 phasing at the end thanks to new JLA team ability. Yeah, there's lots to like here. Great and sealed. Definitely constructed potential. Although Precision Strike was a little, it still works for him because he's never attacking more than one character anyway. So yeah, lots to like here.
PJ, to kind of touch on your not liking hypersonic ID card call-ins, they're the safest ones. If you think about it, if you call in close enough, you'd make that attack, and then he runs off the board.
I agree. It's still, to me, it's a glorified charge. Like,
Yeah.
I like running shot pieces when I pick ID stuff. I want reach.
Charge and disappear. It's fun.
Yeah. It's not unplayable. I'm not a fan.
All right. Next up, Nightshade, also in the Super Rare slot. Shadow Pack, Suicide Squad, Mystical Keyword. What part of Suicide Squad didn't you understand? Now, this is going to be common to a lot of characters with Suicide Squad team ability. When Nightshade is KO'd, reduce your action total by 1, minimum 1 until the end of your next turn. Now, I'm hoping this actually kind of increases the flexibility of the characters for point cost, because that seems like a bit of a penalty there. And that's something that's got to happen. Travel the lands of Nightshade is a special movement power on her first and last click. Stealth, free, place Nightshade in hindering terrain within 5 squares. Power, choose a friendly character within 5 squares and place it in hindering terrain adjacent to Nightshade. Then she's got a special attack power on her first 3 clicks. Shadows Arise, Smoke Cloud, Poison. When Nightshade uses poison, opposing characters in hindering terrain within 5 squares are also dealt the damage. And then she gets the Suicide Squad team ability, 5 range, some barriers, some probability control off the top 2. Ignores hindering for movement and line of fire. I believe we go to Mike on Nightshade.
I like her. Again, I mentioned her earlier with Suicide Squad, being able to pair her up with King Shark on a theme team, and she could help in move him up the map because it's a place, so they can take actions afterwards. They can move, they can charge, they can attack. Probability control is great. I like her. I don't know. I would say, again, it's tough to say competitive. The meta, yes, for me with my whole themey competitive, I definitely play her, but she may not really bring you much for those points in terms of a real meta builds, because she's 50 points, and other than the prob and the sort of being able to give somebody that sort of 5 movement, unless that's sort of the major part of your build in terms of repositioning, I don't know if those points are being spent well enough. But I do like her. I like her a lot. I think she's a fun little piece, and as I mentioned, I would definitely be playing her on a Suicide Squad team.
All right, Jay.
The first thing I thought when I saw her was that she's basically the Raven used for the Mistress Death team, except differently good. Now that I'm thinking about it, her placement effect, she shares the Shadow Pact keyword with Sebastian Faust, who's already an amazing placer. Just the sheer swing you can get on him to call an ID card for not too many points is pretty cool. I think that was... Oh, I also wanted to say that I really like negative traits like this to down costs, just because it's not the worst. It's not the absolute worst thing ever. I mean, you should be losing more than one of these a turn, hopefully, and it's not that big of a deal, but it definitely looks like her points were impacted by the trait. So I'm a fan of those things. Keep it up.
PJ?
So first, in sealed, you absolutely have to play her because there's so little top dial prob in this set that you absolutely have to play her. Like, you have Lou, or not Lou, the other one.
Bud?
Yeah. That has the opposing prob, and then super rares and up is it for prob, top dial. So you have to play her if only for the 50-point prob. For constructed, after playing Raven for an entire event and winning with it, I'm going to say that she will definitely end up being meta play. She has everything that Raven does for 10 more points, but also has barrier. So the fact that she can free place herself up 5 squares and then barrier to allow your team to advance, or free place within 5 and then pull somebody else up to call in an ID or to do, whatever, without the keyword requirement that Raven has, I think she has a lot of potential to be absolutely disgusting of a piece to play.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree there on everything said so far. I do like the reaching poison, too, for sealed play, because poison you can trigger only if you haven't been placed or moved. So you can smoke cloud and then poison.
Yep.
All right, next up, Superman, God of Strength. Apocalypse, Justice League, Kryptonian, and deity keyword. God of Strength, opposing characters in 6 squares and lower points, excuse me, can't pick up objects. He's got a special attack power in his first 4 clicks. Show you true strength, super strength. Superman, God of Strength, may hold 2 objects and may pick up and or put down an object twice total during a move. When he is given a move action while holding 2 objects, or given a close object action while holding 2 objects, you may modify attack +1 and damage +1. If you do, KO the second object in addition to the first. Then he's got Contest of Strength as his damage power for all but 2 clicks. Each time Superman God of Strength is targeted with a close attack, you may re-roll 1 die result in the attack roll. 200 points. Superman team ability, Quintessence. He's got 4 range. And he's got a special damage power on his first 6 clicks out of 8 total clicks, and then he's got a special attack power on his first 4 clicks. We go to Jay, I believe, on the God of Strength.
This is definitely a sealed play. Actually, I guess before I say anything, like with the Catwoman, he doesn't stop equipment; he just stops super strength and now light object for anybody picking up objects. Sealed for sure. I mean, really good swing, good values. Once he gets in there, he has kind of differently good prob with the pick a die to reroll and whatnot, good reducers, quintessence, all good stuff. And if you pick up 2 objects with him, you can be doing 13 and 8 rather. 13 and 8. And if we're talking the call-in game, if you're having Lex Luthor and Joker call him in, that's a 14 and 8. In addition to their potential 2-out wits. So if they had powers, they're gone. And if they had a dial, it's on its KO click. He's definitely, hopefully, going to see some play there. And once I start actually playing that piece, which Jason and Tom realized was better now than before I did, we'll definitely be seeking out this piece to ID card in.
All right. PJ.
Pretty much just going to echo Jay here. Absolute sealed powerhouse. He definitely doesn't work with equipment. I want to just add to that again. He does not stop people from equipping stuff.
Does not stop equipping. There we go.
But I think he'll be good as a call-in at 200. Worldbreaker Hulk can call him in. Lex Joker duo can call him in. Lex Luthor at 250 can call this guy in. I think he's good off that, but I probably would never main force this guy outside of sealed. So, yeah, he looks cool.
All right, Mike?
Yeah, sealed, yes. Constructed meta, no. Other than call-in, potentially Real Boy would be nice to have him at the end. But that's about it. Not yeah, I'll play him in sealed for sure. Yeah.
All right. He's missing a crooked hat and a tank top as a God of Strength. Because, bro, do you lift, bro? Do you even lift, bro? All right. Next up, Enchantress. She's got the Sentinels of Magic, Shadow Pack, Suicide Squad, a mystical keyword. June Moon is a real name. What part of Suicide Squad didn't you understand? Trait. She also got a special attack power on her second, third, and fourth click. Channel mystical energies, penetrating psychic blast, steal energy with close or range attacks. And then she's got shape change on her special damage power on her first 3 clicks. Which is shape change at the beginning of your June Moon or Enchantress. Shape change at the beginning of your turn. You may roll a d6 until your next turn on a 1 to 3 enhancement and support on a 4 to 6 perplex and the Mystics team ability and 75 points. Suicide Squad team ability 8 range. Jake started. PJ, you're up.
I think she's neat. For sealed. She's good enough to play. I wouldn't call her an auto play, depending on what the rest of your stuff is. The 50-50 shot at top dial perplex is really good. Shape change is good. 20 defense from range is good. Just missing out on some move and attack. But you can't have everything that you want. I like the steal energy at range, mid dial. competitively and constructed, probably will never see this piece.
All right. Mike?
Yeah, kind of mediocre. I mean, the top value, the top dial values are actually really good. It's 75 points, 11, 18, and 3 is really not bad, especially if you do manage to get Perplex and you can boost something there. Like some of the keywords that she has against Suicide Squad, I can make some fun stuff with her. If I pulled her in sealed, depends on what else I have. That special attack power with the steel energy at range would be amazing if she had running shot on those clicks. To be running shot, psychic blast, steel energy at range, well, I'd be playing her for sure. She'd be a beast. Yeah, so she's just kind of like, yeah, maybe in sealed. And definitely I wouldn't waste 75 points on her. I mean, come on, I'll play Goblin King at 75 points on a mystical team before I'm going to play her at 75 points.
All right. Jay?
Yeah, she'll help you in sealed, but she's not gonna be winning it for you. Her either enhancement and support or perplex and whatnot will be good, but she is not gonna be the linchpin that makes the team amazing and win and whatnot. But she's definitely a decent play, not the worst rare to pull, that's for sure. And again, I think I feel the negative points from the trait, so yeah, good stuff going on here.
Yeah, without that trade, I'm sure she'd be more points, and I kind of like that trade is there to bring her points down. I personally am hoping to pull this in sealed because it's the kind of character I like to grab. And I'm going to be the guy who's going to be crazy and say I might try something competitive with her, but it won't work, and I'll let it die in testing. All right, next up. Giganta, Legion of Doom, Secret Six, and Scientist keyword. By the way, this figure looks amazing. Only 6 of us trait. Then she's got another trait. You're only going to make her angry. Free. If Giganta has 2 action tokens, colossal symbol until your next turn, and she may make a close attack. After resolutions, deal her 1 unavoidable damage. And then so what you see is what you get dialed, 90 points or 50 points, indomitable, and giant symbol. Mike, your thoughts on Giganta?
I think she's actually really great at 50 points with the only 6 of us trait. Here's another awesome piece to be putting on a Secret Six team that's going to definitely benefit from +1 to all those stats. That'd be 10 movement, 11 attack, 18 defense, 4 damage, flurry, or exploit weakness for 50 points. I think is great. Plus, as a giant, she's another way to help move some of these Suicide Squad people up the map. She moves up the map, spends tokens doing that. Now she's double tokened, and she can still free attack herself. So honestly, I think she's a really great piece for those points. Meta, well, again, if I have her or I have King Shark to choose from, I'm going to go with King Shark because he's just the king. But I could do some fun stuff with her again, the meta wise. And sealed, yeah, I'm probably going to play her in sealed. Maybe not at the 90 points. Again, depending on what else I have in the team. But yeah, I could see me playing her. She's not a bad piece.
Jay?
I'm a big fan of everything going on here. Just the sheer stupidity of the damage potential at the 90 points is just absolutely frightening because without the +1s, she can be doing, assuming she starts the turn pushed, she can do the free attack, take with the 1 unavoidable, so that's 4 damage, and then flurry twice for 3 each. That's a total of 10 damage in a turn on a 90-point investment. If you can somehow pull off the +1s in sealed, that's a huge load of damage. And then also, it's really good stats across the board already. And then taking into account the potential +1s, yeah. And I've already seen a little bit of confusion about how the trait works. It's the 1 unavoidable damage happens after the free, which is both get colossal and then make the close attack. Yeah. So hypothetically, if you do the free action, she gets colossal, she makes the free attack, 1 unavoidable. If you use colossal stamina, that's 1 more damage, not 2.
PJ?
Yeah, I think this piece is great. I agree with what Jay was saying. Her damage potential is just massive. If you can play her at 90 and have a 6-figure team, 13 clicks of damage in a turn for 90 points is just bonkers. And she'll have an 11 attack the whole time.
It makes those 15 points a Kite Man.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, I like everything about this piece. I like that she has a 17 defense at minimum printed. Her damage never goes below a 3. Like, I think just everything about her just works really well for her point value. I think she's one of those pieces that is actually is undercosted for what you get for her value or her dial.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And to add on to that damage potential, she's like, you're going to throw her in the middle of everything, do a ton of damage to her, do a ton of damage to your opponent, and watch them try to recover. Once you've lost Giganta, you're just basically playing cleanup anyway. Like, single-handedly, Giganta is going to do a ton of damage to opposing teams, and it's quite frightening, to say the least. Plus, she's got that soccer mom haircut and tracksuit, so... am I the only one who sees it? I have to ask.
I thought that was from Kill Bill.
Well, it was the haircut that's throwing it off, right? Because like she's got the really cool flat out yellow matching tracksuit, which yeah, it's kind of Kill Billish, but then you get that short haired haircut, like I want to talk to your manager in retail kind of haircut, and it kind of goes soccer mom on me. So
It's always funny to see stealth on a character that's bigger than normal size. And you're always going to get it because you should be having at least 3.
Is she
hiding.
Is she in that pose, Jay, because she's raging about dropping her pumpkin spice latte?
Absolutely.
Is that what that is?
He's on the bench. And based on the hair color alone, PJ, is this your mom?
Oh, yeah. It's actually, yeah, no, I'm not going to go there. It's not. It's not.
Yeah, don't, because I'm from Scarborough. We shouldn't talk about anybody's moms. Let's not go there.
Wait. I think, what was the other joke I had? Oh,
no, let's not go there,
was,
Jay. Let's not go there, Jay. Let's not go there.
I don't know what you were thinking.
All right. So we've been talking about Harley this whole time, and the conversation isn't over yet. Let me just the set comes out on Wednesday. I mean, sealed events start on Wednesday. And what's more is this weekend there's a number of sealed WKOs. And the group of us have been putting together kind of our wish lists or our ideas from the set. Very clever, Jay. Jay and Mike have kind of focused on constructing. Want to take a look at a lot of the lower end pieces as far as, you know, because we talk about the super rares and chases all the time. We're meta players. That's kind of how where a lot of our conversation leads is either large amounts of some common that's everybody's trying to get their hands on a ton of, or stacks and stacks of chases, super rares, and con exclusive stuff. And the conversation, kind of dialing it back a little, is always worth it. And sealed is another conversation we dial it back. Now, I know myself and PJ have been focusing on our sealed wish lists, as it were, the commons and uncommon slot, because when it comes to sealed and your planning phase, the rares and the super rares are what you like to call your high fantasy. Boy, oh boy, wouldn't it be great to get that unicorn, but I'm going to get elves and dwarves at best. So... that might not work on anybody, but either way, we're gonna pull the conversation over to Mike. I'm gonna get Mike start. What kind of ideas have you been mulling around with Harley Quinn as far as building teams and whatnot? Your mic's off.
It was those pretzels, those damn pretzels, because they're crunchy, and I mute. And I can't help myself. See, look, it's the rolled gold, man. I can't stop.
They're magically delicious.
If there's someone from Roll Gold out there, by the way, watching the show, sponsorship.
And if you're sitting beside the guy at Red Bull, elbow him, eh? Because I've been trying to talk to him for a while. In fact, give him a Red Bull, maybe.
I'm really liking this set. I'll be honest. In the beginning, I didn't know if there was going to be a lot in it that would be of my liking, because all I was thinking was Harley and But man, Suicide Squad, Secret Six, these traits have got me really excited. I've been building so much stuff around that. I've been fiddling around with, King Shark, of course, that we've been talking about, playing him at 90 points, getting Amanda Waller on there at 25 points. And now I've already got an extra action on the team. So many other fun stuff that you can mix with that now. If I go back to Secret Six, I've got Janette for TK I can throw forward. If I go back to Suicide Squad, I've got Nightshade to bring him up. A lot of fun stuff. But I also was looking at the set and staying away from some of the super rares and trying to build exclusively within the set too, almost like a sealed dream, as it were. And one of the teams that I came up with was a bombshell team that. Here, I'm going to see if I can pull this up for you right now. This little bombshell team, I don't know, hopefully you can see this, with Mira, Batgirl, Stargirl, and Batwoman. It's just a simple little team. I'm going back to basics with it. I've got Mira. I know she's really obviously overcosted at 100 points there for the TK, but I thought it's nice to have her sort of holding back and throwing people forward, and then she's a good backup attacker. She throws Batgirl up the map. We already know she's starting with that nice hypersonic 11 attack, 17 defense with the super senses. I've got Stargirl for some perplex to start, and then eventually she's going to get a little better, and she's going to get TK herself, so she can start throwing Mira up the map once Batgirl maybe has taken some damage. And Batgirl can bring Batwoman along with her for some empower and for somebody to be doing some outwitting, maybe some defense powers for her while she hypersonics through. It's exactly 300 points, bombshell keyworded, so we've got those tokens, and nothing above a rare. So, something totally possible. Well, not really, because there's like 3 rares there. But actually, I think it's all 4 rares. I got like all 4 rares in a row. But it was fun to look at the set and build and see that there's so many great actual named themes in this set now, and a lot of building potential as such. I'm excited. And again, if I go to my other window, you'll see that I've got a King Shark and Amanda Waller here at the ready. I'm just constantly building combinations with them. A lot of fun coming up with those ideas. This is a great set. I'm really excited for this set.
Yeah, there's a lot of build potential in this set for sure. And, as me and PJ are going to be talking about, there's a lot more potential in the commons than in commons, and a lot of us are giving you credit for it. But Jay, your ideas there, sir.
Commons wise, I think I'm most excited. Not excited, but I see potential in Big Tony just because really cheap perplex. I also love the idea that the 2 main perplexes or cheapest ones are both named Tony. It's just, if your name is Tony, you apparently have perplex and are ridiculously cheap in this game.
Well, you're perplexed as to whether or not his actual given name is Tony or if his name is Anthony.
Wait, I hear way in the distance with a Brazilian accent, Zuko.
Is that our friends over in
Pedro? Pedro, is that you?
Zuko?
Zuko.
Sorry, carry on, Jay.
Uncommon wise, competitive speaking, and just excited in general, I feel like Red Tornado is probably the big standout. I feel like uncommons are a little like kind of the worst, not the worst, but I mean the least good slot in this set, unfortunately. Rares wise, there's some good stuff going on. I think in particular, I am probably most excited about Granny Goodness, although she is unfortunately not competitive. But sealed wise, definitely should see some play. I feel like this is going to be a set that sees more impact ID card wise because of all the bomb chases, and then some of the supporty smaller characters, kind of like how the best characters in Deadpool were all Deadpool's little sidekicks like Blind Owl and Weasel and whatnot. Not so much with the main force attackers, unfortunately, because although Prometheus is a pick of power, he's not great.
Mm-hmm. All right, PJ, sealed wish list, as it were.
So I was going through HC Realms and just kind of like putting little check marks by a bunch of the pieces that I thought were really playable. And then I ended up just putting check marks next to a ton of pieces. So one thing I have to disagree with Jay about, where he said the uncommons are lackluster. I think in sealed, like all but 2 of them are playable. Like a lot of them are very middle of the road, but they bring a lot of your support powers, and they're outside of your super rares and chases. They're your big hitters, because that's like where you have your like uncommon Big Barda, not the prime.
Yeah.
Yellow Lantern Scarecrow is a good attacker. I actually think like Scandal Savage is pretty decent. Like my dream 2 rares, if I couldn't get a super rare, I would be begging for Prometheus and probably Janette and maybe Queen Bee in place of one of those 2. I think there's a lot of high value in low rarity slots in this set. So, like, don't get bummed if you open your boosters and you don't see a chase, because, like, the little 003 Paul Kirk Manhunter, not even the prime.
The non-prime one?
Yeah, he's good. Sidestep, 11 attack, 2 damage with range combat expert and 5 range. That's pretty decent for 50 points. Like, there's it will be easy to build an effective 5 to 6 figure team in this set. It won't be so much like World's Finest, where you can hit that whole booster that's Witch, Warlock, Druid, Condiment King, and something else, where like you can't even get 100 points out of your booster. Like, there are generics, but there's not so many that it should overwhelm everything that you open. Like, I would be excited with 1 good rare, 1 junk rare, and then some good uncommons. I would be completely happy with that and would feel confident in my ability to win an event with that.
Yeah. There's so this uncommon slot is reminiscent of the War of Light uncommon slot, and the fact that if not paid attention to, you will get caught off guard. And as I have to bring up this Big Barda because she hasn't been previewed properly, but this is your uncommon bomb here. She's 125 points with 6 range, a Superman enemy team ability, and there's enough of those in the set now at lower points. She got the Apocalypse, Female Furies, and Warrior keyword, and she's got Running Shot, Psychic Blast, 4 damage off the top, and that special power there, that's leadership, and when she uses it and succeeds, you can choose either Empower or Enhancement, and she can use that power. So there's a 1 in 3 chance that she's got Enhancement or Empower, but if you happen to get that 1 in 3, you've also removed an action token from somebody, in addition to the fact that you're already getting an extra action out of your turn. What's more is, this is one of the Female Furies that's likely to hit and be able to be protected, outwit, posing perplex, exploit weakness, and precision and penetrating psychic blast. Like, that's bonkers in the uncommons. And right there is like my number 1 uncommon wish list, of course. But I'm, this Scarecrow is still also very decent with the perplex. If you can get multiple perplexers out there, free penetrating damage, why not, right? Duchess is one to be worth keeping an eye on. And even in the common slot to kind of remind people that Manhunter, the non-prime Manhunter, I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It's like the same thing, but the attack dial is just a little bit lighter, and it lacks the traits and special powers and whatnot. So
6 clicks for 50 points.
Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable, because 15 more points gets you a little bit more flexibility on your range combat expert and close combat expert, but that's okay, because if you look at the order of it, all games start at range. Yep. So I'd rather start with the range combat expert and go to the close combat expert. So it's almost an identical dial lacking toughness. That's how cool it is. I'm never gonna not like Cat Man, so I'll get over it eventually. I promise. But just in general, I'm not even looking at rares right now in this discussion, and I see a lot of potential pieces that can do fairly well in a competitive environment. So I'm actually not in the same state I was for World's Finest as far as looking at the chase slot and saying, if I don't pull one of these and I'm in a big tournament and somebody does pull one of these, I'm going to lose. I think I still got a fighting chance without even having pulled a rare yet. So
definitely, there's way more spread in this set than World's Finest was. World's Finest was pockets of stuff, and you were like, man, don't put me in the pocket of support crap. Please don't put me in. That's oh god, was I ever in the pocket of support crap?
Or don't put me in the pocket of the big character that has like 1,000 counter figures in it. When you play that 200-point Superman and come across 3 of the Supergirls in that set, you're not a happy camper. It does what against Kryptonians? Oh,
this is delete. Yeah.
It was interesting that you mentioned the big players because I'm noticing a pattern in this set of just it's the numbers game of just what stats can I increase and how much. Like the Manhunter, who could theoretically do some damage even to the big chases as long as they don't have stealth. You have, all sorts of cheap perplex, all sorts of support powers going on. And all the Secret Six characters who have normal to good stats, which can get bumped if you manage to make a 6-character team, which is totally possible in this set. So it's definitely not a lost cause if all you're seeing is the more cheaper points, lower rarity stuff. There's definitely a lot going on there. If you can have Janette, who starts off as TK, which is always good, who then turns into one of the best attackers, arguably, in the set once you factor in those potential +1s. It's definitely not a matter of if you don't pull a chase, that's it. There's definitely enough number pumping and whatnot going on that you can get some good, really scary armies going.
And even when we do mention the rare slot, I feel like unless you pull an absolute piece of crap, it's okay to get 1 Kite Man. Because I don't see anything that I wouldn't play really in the rare slot. Maybe Granny Goodness if I didn't get anything to work with her, but even then, she's not terrible bad, She can phasing teleport once per game and then move up to 12 squares with Passenger 4. If you happen to have pulled a Female Furies team in your sealed, which is a very likely possibility, not a bad thing. Getting somebody's face with them, right? So, it's all playable. Is what I'm trying to get at and trying to stress is that don't get down just because you got 1 Kite Man. The other pack's got something good, unless it's also a Kite Man. Then let's check that uncommon slot because that's the one you're putting a lot of weight on. Don't get down. Like I said, the commons and uncommons in a set can still fight. All right. So yeah, with 2 sealed WKOs this weekend, Mikey, you pumped to be running through Harley Quinn now?
Oh yeah, I'm super stoked right now. Definitely. In fact, I've got 3 opportunities to play sealed Harley this week because there's the release event at 401 Games on Thursday night. So I'm already going to be going to that, and then Saturday I'm going to Hamilton for the sealed WKO at Jackson Queen, and then back to 401 Games on Sunday for their WKO. Sealed. So I'm going to be playing in 3 Harley sealed events, 2 of which are WKOs, and I'm super stoked. I feel like there's so much variety in the set. The point values are in a place where you can build more than just 1 or 2 figure teams. You can build nice balanced stuff, yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, I love the new stuff. We all love the new stuff. Things coming out, making us re-examine the game and come up with different power combinations, maybe, and seeing how things work together. So yeah, I'm super stoked. And as I've always mentioned, you guys know this. I love sealed because I feel like sealed is the great equalizer. It's a game that sure there's an element of luck in what you get, but it really shows the great players who can come up with whatever, you know what I mean? They're just pulling stuff out of a box and they make great things happen consistently with randomness, apparent randomness. So that's what I love the most about sealed is that, it really, I feel it balances the playing field. So I'm super stoked.
All right, Jay? Which ones are you playing in Elmsville as well, or?
No, so I'm not playing at 401 because I might be getting a case and a half depending on how things work out. So I don't really want to buy more packs of that. I'm not going to be at the Saturday one because I'm already busy on my birthday, which is the day of 401. So I'm going to spend the day with my girlfriend then. And I already have, most surprisingly, the only thing I would really hope to gain is Shadowcat, and the open maybe gets me the nationals admission, but I'm probably judging. So there's so little incentive for me to play an open here. But yeah, I'm probably not playing any Harley at all, but I'm definitely trying to familiarize myself with the set because rules questions, although I'm happy that it's going to be sealed, not constructed, because way less funky rules interactions going on. I don't really think there's going to be anything that complicated in this set, hopefully. Like, even the Catwoman and the Superman traits are not going to be that confusing because there's no equipment to worry about. So it's going to be interesting to see what people play and maybe watch some games, though.
Okay, cool. PJ, you got some events coming up, right?
Yeah, I just have one Harley sealed on Sunday. I might go to a little local release thing on Saturday if I wake up in time, but I'm not really going to try to wake up early to get over there. It's like 45 minutes away. So if I get up and make it over there, great. Give me a little sealed practice in. But I'm really looking forward to going up to Wisconsin for the WKO there.
Okay. So just a little bit of plug time for those stores that we're heading over to. Jack's on Queen is in Elmvale, Ontario, 18 Queen Street West. Their event is going to be this Saturday, November 18th at 1 o'clock p.m. Then 401 Games on this Sunday at 518 Yonge Street in Toronto. Their event is going to be at 11 o'clock on Sunday of this week. And then Comic Book Addiction, which we'll probably be talking about again on Monday, but we'll talk about it now, is at 1022 Brock Street South in Whitby, Ontario. They're actually in the store, and they've changed the date for any of you who may not be aware yet. They've changed it from the 25th of November to the 26th of November and are holding it in their store instead of in the church they usually do it in right now. So hopefully that news gets to those who need to know about it. I'm really looking forward to it. They've always done a great job of running events, and I've always had a ton of fun.
They have amazing events, yeah. I'm actually hoping that I might be able to make that one too, because Comic Book Addiction, they did the WKO last year, and it was fantastic. Huge turnout, great group of people there. They run a stellar event.
Yeah, so that's what we're heading out to local, and we hope to see some of you guys out there, and hope to hear some more stories of the WKOs. The news from the field sounds like Unimind is still out there, but some people are getting past them. I've heard combinations of Shredders doing it. PJ's team has done it. So there's hope out there, guys. Oh, excuse me. That was a terrible noise to come out of me. All right. But who's ready for fan questions? Before we get to that, I want to remind everybody, if you want to be part of the Patreon Discord, who's been lovingly making me chuckle every so often while watching the show, making Hootie and the Blowfish references and all kinds of weird jokes. You can check us out through our Patreon at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. Any valuation gets you access to the Discord. As well, it's going. All this effort is actually going to be going towards us getting some more content out to you guys this week, and for future weeks. We've got to kind of buckle down and get some more work done around the house, and it's really hard. It's been really hard because November is both my daughter and Amber's birthday. Amber's birthday is actually on Saturday. She'll be joining me in Elmvale for the WKO for that. And then December is my birthday and Christmas, and then we have a 1 month reprieve until it's February, and it's our son's birthday. So as you can imagine, it gets a little hectic, but we've got a plan to get a bunch of content out, and all this stuff in the Patreon is helping us out and getting us there. So I want to thank everybody who's on there, and if you want to join us, join us on the Discord, join us on our Patreon Hangout, our next one being in December. Probably December 1st even. We'll we'll see you guys in that. But now that I've babbled on about that, let's start with Facebook. Then we're going to move on to the chat and anything that might have come up in the Discord as well. There's actually one really good question. I know PJ left some notes in our chats on Facebook to discuss, and it's really, really intriguing, actually, because something came up with regards to Avengers Infinity that's worth talking about. But first, and we got to put a stamp on this episode officially, Mr. Chris Stockhouse, who actually saw Jay this weekend, apparently, as he was at WKO at Eternal Games. Incidentally, he starts off, 36 players in Michigan. My favorite part with this weekend was that I got to see Jay. Just wish I had rather played Constructed. If I had to face Unimind or other stop clicks, I had rather. Okay. Or other click shenanigans. I'm talking about you, Chase Oden. I had 4 swings on him while he was on his sleeping click and got probbed out of my only hit. I just realized he's now wishing he was playing Constructed because he ended up playing his Unimind anyway. I'm sure you guys have talked about Harley Sealed. Are there any maps that you can see working really well for certain characters in Harley, or even the opposite being really bad for certain characters? Well, Mike mentioned Bifrost would be great for sand. Jake, or PJ, anything you can think of off the top of your head would be great for some of the characters in Harley?
I think WizKid's Office is going to be pretty good and bad equally. There's a lot of your bigger pieces that are going to be long range, so that's going to be a dedicated part of your build, so it'll be bad. But then if you're playing a swarmy team, most of those pieces are kind of punchy, or 4 to 5 to 6 range. So you're going to want the kind of corridors to eliminate their opponent's reach. So I think WizKid's Office is going to be really, really good for this set. Unfortunately, rock maps won't be legal. So there are better options than WizKid's Office. But this would be my recommendation to anybody. Definitely take that map with you.
Mm-hmm. Mike?
Yeah, really. It's hard to say. Other than what I was thinking of with Bifrost and Sand, again, that's a good map anyway for taking advantage of terrain and repositioning people. I wish, I so wish there was some water. I got all my fingers and toes crossed that a king shark shows up in one of my boosters at some point. Maybe, actually, all the maps that I really think of that I love are like ROC maps, like Crossfire Canyon and stuff like that. So, yeah, WizKid's Office, pack that office. It's a pretty reliable map.
All right, Jay.
I feel like if we're talking King Shark, the only really good map for him is a cargo ship because you can very easily get into the water and then jump out. It's all the way down the map, so no matter where you are, you should be able to jump in there. And it's also good against the rangy kind of stuff because you can, depending on the starting area, hide in the elevated because there's no improved elevated in the set, or you can force close combat by hiding in the ball of blocking. So overall, pretty solid map to bring with you if you've already paid out the nose for the premium maps. As far as paper maps go, there's a fair amount of stealth, so I think you're gonna get the most hindering out of the sporting arena, so that's probably something to consider.
Wakanda.
Yep, the only problem with Wakanda is that on your stealth team it kind of hurts you by giving your opponent the +2, so you're not really benefiting as much because you're already in stealth. So I don't know.
So much fun though.
Yeah, it is always fun in Wakanda in the jungle. I think you're wrong.
Do remember, if you're playing Wakanda and you see a Nightshade across the table from you, put that map away, or I told you so. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
I thought of another. Arthur's Castle is really good and has water in the starting zone.
So there it is. There's your King Shark map. Arthur's Castle!
Safe house. I think the other side of it, it's Hydra Island or whatever, also has water in the starting zone. It's the map I used at Rock Cup for my Floros.
Nice.
So,
all right.
King Shark map.
And the map discussion continues from Sealed
King Shark
to Constructed. Christopher Smotherman, what is your favorite modern age map for competitive play, and And what is or are your favorite maps for casual play and why? I find myself gravitating to premium, premium maps way too often and would like some good ideas to change things up. My favorite casual map is Krakoa because that map has beat me so many times. And I still love playing on it. As far as competitive play, I love The Office because it forces a game of Heroclix. Like a game of Heroclix, if you know what I'm saying. PJ?
My favorite competitive map is Turtle Lair because exactly like you said, it forces a game of Heroclix. It's just wide open. A little bit of water, a little bit of hindering, like 4 squares of blocking. Like we're going to fight. You're not going to hide. We're going to throw dice at each other and see who loses. And then for casual, I love Danny the Street. I love everything about that map. I love random goodies. I love it's just a great map.
Mike.
I'm going to go the other way around. So casual, I can't remember what the name of the map is, but it's the random portals.
Dark Dimension.
Dark Dimension, thank you. Oh my God, that map is so much fun for casual play. Ending up here, and in fact, I played one game, and I can't remember who it was with, and we actually rolled the same number every single time we rolled for the portal. So our entire teams ended up all around the one portal. It was awesome. We just had this whole clump of guys in the map, and every time it was great. Competitive wise, yeah, I'll always say The Office because it is a great map. It forces a game of Heroclix. Plus, that map was a major part in my team winning Ontario Provincials because I played that map in conjunction with the Invisible Jet Special Train, and I created a little box in the back corner of the map for all those horrible Sam Wilson, overdrive teams and stuff like that would come all the way. I made it so that the whole team couldn't get to me. So definitely I love The Office. But I also, as I mentioned, Crossfire Canyon. I actually like that map a lot. I know it's not a WizKids map. It's an ROC map, but it's a lot of fun. And Chase Magneto hates it because there are 0 squares of blocking terrain. I actually pulled that map and played that map against a Magneto team. Great guy here in Toronto, Devin. Awesome player. And I felt a little bad. The look on his face when he was like, what? There's no... So yeah, I do like that map. Plus, it's a good map. There's good chunks of hindering. So if you've got people with stealth, you've got this little trench in the middle. So you're forcing people to sort of traverse that. So if they're boot speed, they're going to get slowed up. There's a little strip of water in the middle there too, and then also it's. I totally forgot where I was going with that. But anyway, I like that map. It's got a nice little middle. You can shoot across it. So if you've got a ranged attacker with stealth, they can sit in one little bush on one side and shoot across the thing and sort of force people to come down and over. It's it's fun. And it's a good controlling map.
All right. Jay?
If we're talking Golden Age, I'd probably say the Gamma Range map from Hulk just has a little bit of everything. Not too much of any one thing, but just enough to make things interesting. For both casual and competitive, I can't even count the number of times I played Danny the Street, especially when I was running a +5 competitive theme team and picking that almost every single game. It was just so great. The luck of the draw, what Danny tells you to do is just so silly. WizKids Premium wise, it's hard to not say The Office. And ROC wise, I gotta say the Mexico outpost because I'm surprised I managed to get one, and that's probably one of the rare ROC maps. So it's nice to have and be able to pull out, especially considering how far I went to get it. Although, unfortunately, it didn't really work with the keyword I want it to work with most because Wolverine and X-Force, and they don't like all that elevated particularly, but it's still a fun little map. Nothing too crazy, and unless you're playing against some nonsense that ignores elevated, in which case I'm not going to pull out that map. No, thank you.
All right. Next up, Matt Thomas. Please let me know if the group thinks there's a problem with point denial teams in the current meta. Pogs, Unimind, Joker, just to name a few. I've never seen the Pogs so much as point denial unless you're actually aiming at the Pogs. It's like you're denying yourself the points if you're shooting at them, guys. In the current environment, the point denial that we have, the only things I see it's actually denying points are Joker. Unimind is just hard to kill. I mean, and tank-based one-man army, like solid brick teams, they're always hard to kill. So, they're denying you the points that you don't get in general, if that's what you're saying. So I don't see the current environment being as problematic as environments we've had before. I think we need a little bit more time to study and work with it. The Unimind teams are beatable. A lot of things there's things that exist that can, compete with it, as PJ has proven this weekend. So I don't think point denial is the actual issue as much as it feels like. Like, I don't feel like the Unimind is a point denial as much as it is just a really hard character to kill. You can get through the dial. You can finish him off. The only denial is, oh my gosh, I got these Eternals to kill now too. You got to plan for that. So, I don't know. PJ, your thoughts?
I share your sentiments exactly. I don't think point denial is a problem. It's always been around in some way, shape, or form. I mean, not literally always, but for a good amount of time, there's some type of point denial that's been existent, whether you're looking at the old Don't Die team that was full like Res Man, Dead Man, whatever filler you wanted to play, or like when Kenny played Gluttony Do, like that hard point denial. Now, like you said, it's just stuff that happens to be hard to kill, but it totally dies. You just got to be willing to dedicate the time and effort into chewing through whatever it is that you're trying to kill, whether it be a Unimind, a Jakeem, a Joker. They have death mechanics. It's not old 300 Bizarro days where that was significantly worse to deal with than Joker. So I don't know. I don't think it's a problem. I kind of like point denial. Kind of, it's an interesting, it's a win condition, and it keeps games interesting knowing that you could be by 5, and then all you need to do is find a way to squeak out 10 to be able to win. Adds another level of excitement.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, I have nothing honestly to add to that. You guys pretty much covered it. I don't think it is an issue at this point in time. It has always been an element of the game. And to be fair, when games come down to low point differences, they're actually more exciting. Look at the way the World Cup finished. That was some of the most exciting Heroclix I've seen in a while, coming down to those last points at the end. And, a 10-point thrown object won the game, really. So
Yep.
I don't think I don't think it's a problem. I do feel like Unimind himself could be adjusted and that some points should be scored when he first dies, but that has nothing to do with any kind of overall problem with the game.
Mm-hmm. Jay?
It's definitely less of a problem now than it used to be, considering the obnoxiousness that was, as mentioned, Dead Man, Res Man, and then whatever other flavor was currently out at the time. Like, I saw the dupe variant, and that was wow. I never had to play against any of those outside of playtesting, really. So those didn't affect me as much, but they did not seem like a good time. And whatever we have now is, I mean, yeah, the Joker's annoying, but you can score points off him while he's still alive, unlike Bizarro and whatnot. So it's less bad now, really, and could be worse.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully that addresses it. Maybe sometimes you just got to come at it from a different mental space. I want to take a second between the question answering. I just got another denied question on the rules. This is getting frustrating, rules team. Like, if you're gonna deny me the forum, then answer my question. We need precedence. This is a new rule set, guys. Rant done. Stephen Clark Jr. I want to say congrats to PJ. It was fun to watch his team go from 0 to 60 so quickly. I wish I could have faced you. I can't believe how well my team did, making it to the top 4. My team was Overdrive, Joker, Gertrude and Old Lace, 2 symbiotes, Carnage, Surtur, Ameridroid, Nighthawk, Prime, Swordsman ID, Sword, and Weapon Drop. Woo-wee! That was a mouthful. I can get behind that. My favorite match of South Bend's WKO was facing a Casey Spectre, Raven, 2 Green Lanterns, 4 ID cards, and a boxing ring. And by my 4th turn, he took out all 3 Colossal, Symbiote, Nighthawk, Overdrive, Gertrude, and Old Lace, and I was only left with Joker and Symbiote against Spectre, Green Lantern, Batman Pog, and Raven, but got really lucky to KO Green Lantern and Batman Pog with the Flurry Blades, and Symbiote KOing Raven, and next turn to get the Supreme Intelligence out with the Joker, but missed 3 attacks with him, so attacked with the Symbiote, hit for 6 damage, KO expected to win a close game. My Symbiote was MVP of team. They KO'd Casey Spectre, Beta Ray Bill, Thor, Odin's Son, Odin the Destroyer, Green Lantern, Deadpool, Merc with the Mouth, and Raven. Ooh, thanks for sharing. His question is, which figures from Harley do you think will be coming to the meta? He got there, guys. He got there. I love it. Our players are passionate. They share their experiences with the community, and also eventually leads to a question. Chris is good for it too, so can't give everybody a hard time about it. So anything kind of catch your eyes immediately other than Kite Man?
Damn it!
My answer.
Well, you already know how I feel. King Shark.
Were you interested in playing King Shark? I didn't.
I'm a fucking shark.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and demonetize now. PJ?
Since he already said King Shark, you said no Kite Man. I'll go with that.
I said other than Kite Man because we've already established today that Kite Man in multitudes is going to be great.
Nightshade. I think Nightshade will absolutely end up being meta for the previous discussion that we had on her.
Yeah. Reaching poison is good. Mike?
You asked me already.
I
Stay
did.
on target.
Jay?
I feel like I'm going to play sand as much as humanly possible for the obvious reasons. But I feel like the most common pieces are probably going to be the big Tony for the Perplex, although Nighthawk kind of hurts that a little bit. And then as far as ID cards go, I feel like that Zatanna is going to see a lot of play while that ID card is still a thing. Considering that we didn't really ever get a cheap prob substitute for Atomica. And I think the closest thing we had to that was the Casey Spectre, but Shredder's kind of made that go away. So kind of needed that kind of cheap prob going on. So I feel like I could see a lot of play.
I feel like Lashina is finally that plasticity long reach that we've needed. I've liked the Thor Groot, but the Thor Groot also has the problem of being a giant, which means he's very hard to hide if you're not indoors. I feel like Lashina kind of has that thing we've all been looking for in it, a reasonable amount of defense, a lower point value to go with it, potential outwit as well with the Superman enemy team ability. I might be overvaluing the character, but I feel like there's something to work with on that one. Again, I say all these things. You never see me play them, and it's because nobody asks me, so why aren't you playing them? And it's always, well, I tested it, didn't work. So
that's okay.
What's that?
That's allowed, though.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those things. Is practice does. We keep saying about practice. It'll make your team better, and throwing away a team that isn't working is not a bad thing. It's you're just going to the better team. Yes, I see the elongated man, Jay. I see it. Did you see his ridiculous costume he's going to have in the Flash TV show?
No.
Oh, you should look forward to that. It's so bad looking. Like. They lose all that good faith that the Inhumans just kind of took away from Marvel. All right. Let's give me a second here. All right. McConnell Lamar, what figures and strategies do you think work best with the Casket of Ancient Winters? Jay, you've probably thought about this. I have to look at the thing again.
Oh, my God. If I recall correctly, the keyword we're looking for is cosmic, essentially.
Asgardian and cosmic.
Yeah, but like realistically, oh man, um, the new Grandmaster. If you played something like Beta Ray Bill, Grandmaster, Flora, oh man, actually you can get a lot of tokens off because Flora can give out tokens too. So I guess let's go with that. Actually, wait, even that Hulk. Wow, there's actually just a lot of Cosmic in general going on. Good luck running away from Mistress Death when you're pushed out, I guess. Well, she's never pushed ever. So start with Flora Colossus, because that's always the best thing to do. Then make a Cosmic theme team around it.
All right. PJ?
I think best possible way to play the casket is on the starter set 100-point Loki, because he is Asgardian and he can colossal push, so you can constantly add tokens to the casket. So he's probably the best wielder. Strategy-wise, you do probably want to try not token up your own things, because that's bad. So I really do think that common Loki, or not common Loki, starter Loki, is the absolute best way that play him or play the casket outside of just playing Malekith.
All right. Mike?
Yeah, I kind of hadn't really looked at anybody other than Malekith. He seemed to be the sort of choice I would want to go with. I even actually looked at Mistress Death herself. I don't love the object. It's a tough one. I want to give you more advice on what to go with for it, but I every time I sort of look at the object, the 12 points of spending to put it on there, I'm steered away from it. PJ's idea of the Loki, I think, is a fabulous idea. Like he said, the colossal pushing potential to keep getting those tokens back onto the casket, I think, is a great idea. So definitely, that's something I would look at.
Oh, I wanted to mention, now that we mentioned Malekith, that I remember PJ and I and a bunch of others were talking about how Malekith is actually good, and he did place top 8 at an open somehow. So good on that, whoever that was, for doing that. And not that it counts, but if I recall correctly, he won. It was a sealed, but he did win the open. And crap, I can't remember the name of the store. In Illinois, which was pretty cool, which is also funny because he's mostly a ranged defense character, but that's such a close combat set, so I'd really love to know how those games went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that Loki sounds like a good call. I was sitting here staring at it, reading it completely wrong just for a couple minutes there. Oh man. All right. There. Okay, I believe that covers all of them. Oh, here we go. Lucas Tom Van Holland asks, will Unimind be king when Nighthawk rotates? What will replace Nighthawk? I say Kite Man. Hell yeah. Honestly, before I answer the question, when we get into the sealed, if I see a Kite Man, or if you see my Kite Man, you have to look at it and go, Kite Man. Hell yeah. Like, honestly, I didn't even, like, without even reading that trait, I would have said it anyway. Just because I want my Kite Man carrying a Mahunkel just to watch somebody go, I can't kill the fish. It's 15 freaking points. What are you doing to me? That said, I feel like the Nighthawk Prime thing was both a counter and a friend to the Unimind. I think it might open things up. I'm not. It's so hard to say because we don't know what the environment looks like after Nighthawk Prime rotates, right? People are still going to try to use the what was it?
Merc with a mouth.
Merc with mouth. Yes, thanks. That's the one. People are going to try to use Merc with a mouth for a little bit with it. They're going to realize there's a little less permanence to it, but it's also there could be a level of timing to it that could go such a long way with it. So I'm going to say people are going to try that at the very least. And that's what I think will happen at first. And hopefully by then we've got either a solution or a new character to talk about instead of Unimind. Because that's the thing is, it's 9 months from now that the Unimind, 8 months now, Unimind will be rotating out. So if we take that 8 months, we still have X-Men to come out. We have Star Trek to come out. We have the Avengers Infinity, I believe, comes out in June?
May.
So there we go. We have at least 3 sets. If I've missed anything, let me know, guys, because that's 3 sets that still got to come out. Who knows what's in there, right? So I think it's too soon to tell. So ask me again in a couple months when we've seen what the third set. That's what my answer is going to be. PJ might, say otherwise. I don't know.
Main force, chase Hawkeye. Exactly the same number of points. You lose him as an ID. Yep. So main force him and just do that every turn. I feel like that's good, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And like an interesting, it's just every turn you're just here's 13 attack, 4 damage. I guess I'm just gonna shoot your whole team and see what happens. So granted, it's a lot. He's squishy. He's gonna be easy to one hit back, but he's gonna have a long reach and a lot of damage output.
All right, Mike.
King Shark. No.
Does Mike like King Shark? I don't get it, guys.
Yes, Nighthawk cycling out will affect Unimind, but not on a level of eliminating him. I mean, we've already seen how great he is. The whole picking the powers, the insane amount of perplexing. He's still a great figure. He's still going to be a great figure. Just like these guys said, people just find something else to fill in for those 65 points. That either is another way of negating modifiers, or it'll be some other way of slowing down his opponent. Maybe it's somebody who's going to be giving out more action tokens. Who knows? There's so much stuff still to come. He'll miss him because of, like Jay said, the sort of he helps him and he hurts him. But we're still going to see Uniminds coming out of our asses.
All right, Jay.
I was looking at Outsiders, but not much going on there to hurt other Uniminds. Yeah, it's really so hard to say because once like Jason said, once we see that retirement, that's 3 other sets and a whole year's rounds worth of con exclusives. It's really impossible to say, but after seeing the new title characters and realizing that they can actually work really well with Fast Force's Penguin to be able to actually make an attack every turn and not take the damage, I could see Merc with the Mouth maybe becoming a little more viable, especially since doing those attacks will let you give the token out to whoever you want. Funnily enough, since Unimind actually has mind control, you could theoretically buff your opponent's pieces to dual target mind control with Unimind and actually get more use out of them than your opponent. Unimind is just so rude. Such a mean entity.
Yeah, I also neglected there's a turtle set in there that's got to come out. So
turtles.
I think something's come out of a turtle set somewhere that I don't know might shred some teams apart.
I don't know. I feel like there's got to be a good combo considering he looks like Mutagen Ooze.
And I feel like some giant thing with a brain in his stomach has won some events.
Yeah, I maybe. I don't know.
I'm not saying it like they have it. I'm saying it like turtles.
Didn't somebody win an event with Raphael and Michelangelo and a turtle van?
Oh my god! What country was that? Was that Mexico?
Mexico. We're like, no.
I knew I was gonna hate those shredders as soon as I saw that shredder elite trait. Sons of bitch!
All right. So now we move into the chat. Let's see if we got anything in there. Whole chat's active today. All right, here we go. Will the new Chase Darkside War figures work with the old ID? Oh, I actually answered this in the chat. Work with the old ID cards because we don't use real name anymore. We don't use real name in the future. Old ID cards still work with the real name mechanics. Oh, okay, maybe there wasn't that many questions in the chat. Just a very active chat today. Cool.
Yeah, I looked. Didn't see any questions there.
All right, awesome. Well, in that case, PJ, anything to say before we head out?
Wasn't there a Discord question?
Oh, there is. There's a fantastic Discord question. Thank you, PJ. Thank you. You're an important. You see, this is an important thing. Having other people on the show because I can't keep track of all this. The question was really interesting. Avengers Infinity has been announced to a certain degree. We talked about it very briefly as far as the solicit is concerned. We know every single pack's going to come with a double bait or a 2x2 figure. The pack price is going to go up, but we're going to get bigger packs, 4 figures in addition to your big figure. And I know we were all pretty excited for the most part about it. And to add to that excitement, in the Discord, we got a wonderful question regarding some things that also got announced today. You see, today they announced they're not going to be running primes for this set. And the reason they're not running primes is because they want the 4 primes that they're using to work together. They don't want to make the same mistake they made with Squadron Supreme. So instead of being primes, they're going to be strictly uniques this time around. So with that all said, speculate. What do you think the 4 not quite prime, but unique characters that will be working together will be? PJ, you kind of railed off a couple ideas, so I'm going to let you take the lead on this one.
So I mulled over it a lot. I retouched like on the wiki to make sure I knew the whole part of the arc, and coming up with 4 is going to be tough, other than it just being like the Guardians of the Galaxy or like, the clones that Magus creates in that arc, or not really clones, but doppelgangers. Without it following a strict theme like that, I think you might end up seeing like an Adam Warlock, and then in that arc he spits off his good and bad side so he can be neutral. So you have Goddess and Magus that could be the quote-unquote primes. You could also see like Eternity has a twin in there. It's Infinity. So you could see something like that. I can't really come up with a good 4, but I would like to see Adam Warlock, Goddess, and Magus as like 3 of them. I think would be awesome.
Okay. Mike?
Not sure. I don't know if it'll be so strictly specific story or not. Is it? I mean, it's not a pure movie set, right? It's just
No, this is
more
this
in
is
title, right?
This
So
is going to be our 5-figure booster. Oh, you might have been away for this one, but it's going to be a 5-figure booster.
No, I know about the thing. I just wasn't sure about whether the set was sort of more, it's really just cosmic-y Avengers, right? Avengers Infinity.
It's the comic Infinity arc.
Got it.
Yeah, like Adam Warlock has the gauntlet, and
exactly.
The movie Infinity. It's the
no. But that's what I meant. Is I didn't know if they were going to be sticking really to the story arc itself, or you know what I mean? Like there's always subsets and whatever. So I could see it either being maybe Infinity Watch, if they want to have some flashback to it. My only wonder though is, even though they're saying that they're uniques, are these primes still going to be, you know what I mean? Like sort of matching set figure? So
they're still going to be A, B.
Okay, so which is part of why I thought Infinity Watch, because of the whole Adam Warlock Magus thing, I thought was a potential. But I also thought really it's not from the story itself, but it still relates to Avengers characters and having sort of other halves of them. I thought maybe it's some of the Horsemen of Apocalypse when the Avengers got altered that way. We had Sentry as a Horseman of Apocalypse. So, maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's that kind of thing. So I don't know. I'm not sure what it's going to be. It's tough to say because I've seen them so many times before. They have a set and the set says this, and then all of a sudden you've got chases that have like Red Sun Superman chases. That's all. I'm not sure what it is. I can think of a couple of different things, but I do think that something to do with Adam and Magus is a high potential.
Okay. Jay?
Considering that it's a cosmic set, I feel like we're going to see a bunch of Eternals, and then they get diffused into Unimite.
Oh.
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 The door
Oh,
I'm
that
pointing
would
to
be
also
terrible.
leads to the balcony if you want to just kind of keep walking.
So gross.
I really have no idea, though. I never read the story or anything, but I can see. Well, they're not going to be prime, like green ring primes, so it's hard to say like what makes a prime. I mean, I guess you could get a lot of mileage out of a bunch of Infinity Watch, where you have a regular version and then a gem version. Like I think we have, Gamora's confirmed, so we could see her normal, her with a gem, Drax, same thing, Adam Warlock. I mean, who knows? Because there was a bunch of Infinity Watch members. I don't know.
Yeah, I was trying to think of another version of Pip the Troll, though.
Let's bring back Mole Man, you guys. Even though he never had a gem, let's bring back that Mole Man.
Actually, now that I think about it, if you use Mole Man from one side and then Pip the Troll as a variation on Mole Man, they've done weirder things like that for primes, like Power Princess versus Moonstone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they could get crazy like that. I'm not. I mean, if we wanted to go old school, the Infinity Watch, I kind of like the idea. I wanted to kind of look at the new school because it is just Avengers Infinity, which I believe is the one where the search for the Infinity Stones was actually Thanos was looking for Thane. So that's also where we got the Black Order, but there's 5 of them. So we're not going to get reprints.
I thought Black Order too, but there's 5.
Wasn't that Thanos Imperative or something else?
I'm looking at Infinity itself. I didn't read it. I'm going off the Wikipedia, so
that's one of the sub arcs of it. Like that's a thing that's going on during the Adam Warlock stuff.
Yeah, but also something that went on during that was the new Avengers arc that's followed the Illuminati. And there's a couple situations where the Infinity Gauntlet leapt from character to character for story arcs. So I'm picturing a Captain America with the Infinity Gauntlet. I'm picturing an Iron Man with an Infinity Gauntlet. I'm picturing Doctor Strange with the Infinity Gauntlet. I'm just spitballing ideas, guys, because if we
could happen,
instead, all you got to do is paint a glove on them, and you're good to go. Right? I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Whether they'll actually get the paint on there, we get a couple of gemstones painted on someone's forehead.
In their defense, the paint jobs have been like 1,000 times better than what we're familiar with in the early days.
Totally. I've gotten less of those eyes.
Yeah. Eyes that are just like, oh god, his face is
it's like melting.
It's got a blue face. All right. So yeah. That's it. It's been an exciting day. We're hitting the midnight mark. I got to get to bed. So I want to say thank you to our sponsors over at hcrealms.com. Check out the HC Realms page. It's the ultimate tool in checking out all kinds of things Heroclix. The forums is where the conversation is happening. The unit section is where you can track your collection. And the shop is where you can get some really neato stuff and put in the coupon code MARRIED for 10% off your purchase. We're also brought to you in part by majesticccg.com/apex-insiders. It's one of the great places where you can get all kinds of brain dumps from Mr. PJ Bolin over here. Occasionally you'll get some brain dumps from Mr. J. Myself, less frequently. I swear I'll try to get something out there one day again. It'll probably be around the same time that I can start writing scripts for the show because we got some new scripted content coming out for the show that I got to start writing things for. But, check it out. It's $3 a month for the premium portion. The free part at majesticccg.com also gets you access to all kinds of neato information as well. So keep up the good work over there, guys, and check it out for $3 a month. It's worth every penny. I want to thank PJ, Mike, and Jay for joining me this week. And guys, WKO's around the corner. Crack open a couple Harleys and start trying to build your teams on Wednesday because getting a good idea of the seal is a good piece of practice. And practice will make your teams better. Have a good night, everybody.